this plate, and then I'm done.
Oh, no worries. You're good.
You can keep going.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. How is it going?
Long time no see. Even longer for you, Noel.
Hello, yes. Great to be here.
It has been a while. We are happy you could join us for this lovely conversation.
Oh, I'm happy to be a part of it. It's going to be a fun ranking, right? Ranking the Harry Potter films.
Yes.
From least favorite to most favorite, right?
I think we should start with the worst and go to the best.
But we haven't conferred with each other our ranking, right? That's going to be the fun part.
Correct.
I mean, I think we've conferred in the past, but no, not for this one.
For this video.
Not as deep. Noel, you are not audible.
Oh, no? Okay. Testing. I didn't know. Did that work?
Yeah, you might just want the mic closer to you guys.
Should we? Maybe I'll move over a little bit like this.
I mean, I think I'm probably good.
Okay.
Let us know if you can hear both of us. Hi, Melody. Oh, hi, Melanie. This is Noel, who's here with us this evening.
I'm Noel. I'm here sometimes.
Here and there.
Guesting on the channel, which I'm thankful to be here.
Almost 1:30 a.m. and hungry, and you're still joining in. Welcome.
Wow. We are honored to have you here.
Oops, sorry about that. Let me just turn that off.
My God.
It's okay.
Leaving your phone on. So unprofessional. Oh, Melon. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen Noel before. He's been on a couple times. Most people usually like him more than us, so that's a thing. Have a live stream with Noel, and then like the next 5 live streams. When's Noel coming back?
Yep.
Is Noel coming back?
Yep, every time.
I'm honored. I'm honored.
But yeah, like we've discussed the movies before, but we've never actually sat down, and I usually am always just complaining about which one I think is the worst.
I was gonna say I want to see which movies you like, because really from what you've told me is they all suck.
Yeah.
And we've all had discussions like in the past about them, but it'll be fun, I think, to just run through our personal rankings and just talk about
and why we feel
we feel that way. Yeah,
I agree. And chat, please put in your input about how you feel about which movies. I think I already know. My volume is pretty low.
And okay,
so Melanie's saying we are both a little quiet. Working on it, girl.
All right, now talk.
Is that better?
Testing.
Yeah, let us know if we're louder.
Gotta find a good balance for this.
Chester says they love listening to me tear the movies a new one. Well, you've come to the right place, because I am going to do a lot of whining and complaining. Much better. Okay, cool.
I was gonna say, like, I always feel bad about talking bad about movies sometimes, because it's like, you know, what if I had made that? I would feel bad, you know? But it's all just...
But you wouldn't make a bad one.
I guess I would try not to.
I feel no guilt whatsoever.
Oh, I also had a question too. So we are doing, for Deathly Hallows, we're doing part 1 and part 2 as separate films.
Absolutely.
Okay, just wanted to confirm that. Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Good. Because, you know, well, we'll talk about it, but part 1, part 2 movies,
they're different.
They're different. They hit different.
And I rank them differently.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
5 in the morning.
Wow, 5 in the morning. Welcome. Yep, I knew it. I was going to say, I knew what Melanie's favorite is. Hers is Prisoner of Azkaban.
Azkaban's up there for me.
But yeah, she said it brought her into Potter. That was her first Potter experience, was she saw that movie, and then she got into
That was the window?
Yeah.
Pretty good window.
She says she also really likes Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Nice.
They're pretty good. All right, did we decide if we're gonna start with best or
Well,
worst?
what do we want
Worst.
to do?
I think we should start
Worst to
worst
Start
best
with
or
first.
best
Worst
to
to
worst?
best. Worst to best. Because then we'll end on our
On a high.
our favorite, right? Yeah.
Okay. You know,
Melanie also says we've frozen a couple of times.
we don't have any drop frames, so I'm not sure what that is. We should be good.
I'm just sitting here talking. I don't know what's happening. I'm just chatting today.
Fair enough. All right, so
Maybe shall we begin? So we're
Should
all
we just
gonna
start?
So
begin.
what's the format? So I know we're doing worst favorite to least favorite to most favorite, but are we going to go in a circle and share? Like
I
or
think
do
we should all
just yell it
say
out at
we
the
all
same
say it at
time?
once?
we could, and then I think we should discuss
Great.
which one and then why.
No, I don't think we should discuss. We should just say why we hate, or we say which one we hate, and then just leave it at that.
No.
Mystery.
Yeah, just leave it a mystery. Okay.
Never explain why.
Never.
Just
That will keep the readers coming back, as if you never explain anything.
Sorcerer's Stone was my
Oh,
least favorite.
got you, Melanie. I thought it was the first one you saw. I apologize. I can't really see the chat very well, but I can see that Melanie said it wasn't the first one she saw, but it was the first one that really got her in.
Nice. Okay.
Chester says their favorite is Philosopher's Stone, and I can't see this person.
That one says the worst Harry Potter movie is Order of the Phoenix. That's
book or movie.
Oh,
is
book
Order
or
of the
movie.
Phoenix.
Due to a certain toad. Well, I think we all know who that is.
Does that say Akash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Half-Blood Prince is the best movie. Oh, we're not gonna get along today, Dennis.
Okay, so are we ready?
Okay. Least
Yeah.
favorite Harry Potter film. 3, 2, 1.
Half-Blood Prince.
Order of the Phoenix.
Okay.
That's my least favorite one.
Okay.
It was between those two for me, honestly.
Yeah. That one.
They were the worst.
Half-Blood Prince. By a freaking mile, Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah, I'm sure you have your own reasons, but one of the biggest reasons I didn't like that movie was their choice in color palette. Everything was so freaking dark in that movie. The same with Order of the Phoenix. Everything was really dark too.
But there was
But
at least
Half-Blood
some
Prince-
color in Order.
Yeah.
Like Half-Blood Prince was pretty much black and white. Almost.
See, I think Order's more drab than Half-Blood Prince, than color-wise. That's just me. I mean,
I don't know. Like, then you
particularly-
have like the cave scene. You can barely see it. You
That's
gotta turn the
true.
brightness up.
but I was
It's like
disappointed.
watching season 8 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's
You
like
can't
watching
see
the Battle
any-
of Winterfell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like the Department of
Like-
Mystery scene in Order of the Phoenix fell so flat for me.
It sucked.
And that in the book that really leaped off the page. I was visualizing it, but I don't know. I don't know. Didn't work for me.
No, I agree too. I mean, it's another example that is just they darkened everything up. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's like we
Because the
want to see
story's
it.
getting darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we still have to see.
Right. I don't think we need high vision goggles to watch a movie.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to.
I might as well just listen to the audiobook at this point with how dark those movies were.
Yeah.
Um,
But also with, I guess for me with Order, probably with you guys with Half-Blood Prince, too much material to fit in a movie and make it make sense, you know?
That too.
Like with Order, the whole occlumency scenes with Snape.
yeah.
In the book, those are so cool because it was really riveting, like Harry and Snape, rivals having to work together. I think it was like 5 minutes in the movie. They just glossed over it from what I can recall.
And the memory is just like boom,
Boom,
so
done.
fast.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, wait, this is a pivotal part of Snape's character.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't get the full revelation until later, but still.
But the whole essence of why it's his worst memory isn't even in the scene.
I know. Yeah, yeah. So it falls flat for me. Order.
I
for
can't
me.
remember. I thought that was in the scene. Or yeah, they show like her like running away
briefly,
and stuff.
But like it's glimmers.
He doesn't say, "I don't need help from you, you filthy mudblood," or what. He doesn't say that
doesn't?
to her in the scene. No.
Oh, I thought he does.
No,
Oh, okay.
it's not there.
I thought
It's-
maybe you meant like it doesn't show afterwards when he waited outside of the common room.
Well, yeah,
for
because
her.
that's in 7. That's not in 5. We're talking about 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought it
not in
was
5.
in that memory that. Okay. Never mind.
To be fair,
It
that's
is, but you don't see the full thing until you see the Prince's Tale.
well. So this week I rewatched a couple of them just to kind of remember the ones, but I couldn't bring myself to rewatch order. I was like, I already know I don't like this movie. Why am I gonna watch it again?
Half-Blood Prince was like Legends of the Hidden Temple. I like the dark vibe.
Plus, nice
You
and
know-
accurate parts that don't exist in the book. I enjoyed the attack on the burrow. Also, the Slughorn Goldfish story. Okay, Half-Blood Prince. Half the book is missing. Like, all of the critical information in that book is not there. The burrow is attacked for no reason.
Yeah.
There are no repercussions for the attack
Right.
on the burrow.
I would have been fine if they threw that in there, like an attack on the burrow, but just
No.
like make it make sense. Like maybe like time restraints, they had to cut something out so they would add that in, but like doctor up the story a little bit so it makes sense.
Don't add in an attack on the burrow and leave
out
out the
stuff.
Voldemort memories.
Yeah.
What the hell?
My biggest Half-Blood Prince was one of them that I rewatched this week because I had forgotten parts of it.
I also find Dumbledore extremely cringy in Half-Blood Prince.
Well, there's that, but also like we don't get the House of Gaunt.
Nope.
We don't get the House of Gaunt.
Nope.
That was one of the coolest ones, I thought.
Yep.
That's where you see like how crazy Marvolo was. And
Yeah.
we get none of that in that movie, so that's disappointing.
We also don't get Lord Voldemort's request.
Oh
The
God.
meeting where he goes to Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Like, there's none of that. That's not in there.
Yeah.
And we play up the romantic comedy aspect of it with Lavender, Ron, Hermione, and stuff. And like, yeah, that is a plot line. Like, you do have to have that in there, but it takes so much focus of the film, and the focus of the film is Voldemort and who Voldemort is, and how does Harry defeat him, and how Harry's relationship with Dumbledore
Right.
finally evolves to where it needs to be, so that it hits you in the gut when he dies.
Yeah.
Also, Harry hiding under the stairs and watching Snape kill Dumbledore when he's not under the cloak and
Yeah. It's like, what are you
like
doing?
immobilized.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, is that Harry's immobilized and he
yeah.
can't move, and he's just like, what is happening?
They're running out of money for the CGI of the invisibility.
But
cloak.
you can have an attack on the burrow. That's fine.
Well, that's where all the money went.
It's not in the book.
Yeah. I'm gonna save. I have some comments on Half-Blood Prince, but obviously we've
When
rated
you
them
get there.
differently, so I will wait till I get there. But yeah. But so.
I will
Should
say
we-
I
okay.
did like the addition of the goldfish story.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the goldfish story was actually a good addition to the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that was a nice little thing
That was a good innovation that actually helped
to
the story.
really show how much Lily meant to Slughorn. Like,
Especially considering it's a different medium. Like that's like where the Bellatrix attacking the burrow scene, needless scene.
Yeah,
But the
it's
goldfish thing, that was a good like addition, right? Yeah. So should we move on to the next one, or
I
are
think
we
they
still got
wanted to
comments?
give Bellatrix more screen time. I mean, maybe. How much did she get paid for that movie? Maybe they were like, we're gonna get our money's worth from this.
That
lady.
might be.
I understand the decision to maybe have Bellatrix show up at the astronomy tower, because for moviegoers, she's the only Death Eater like they know.
Yeah.
And everyone that shows up at the tower, like, the viewers aren't gonna know. But
Not
like,
to mention, I do like Bellatrix as a character. Like, if you want to give her more screen time, fine.
And they've had a pitch perfect
I love
casting.
I love Bellatrix as a character. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, Greyback is like a non-entity in this movie.
Yeah.
He's just like
He's just like a
in the
menacing.
background.
He's just like a menacing guy. He's like a henchman.
They don't even explain like really who he is very well.
Yeah, I rewatched it this week, and there's just like a wanted poster in like Nocturne Alley or something, and that's
Yeah.
it. That's all. It's like, oh, I guess that's a character in the movie.
You don't get the Lupin backstory about how he's the one that bit him and all that. Like,
Right.
So they keep you in the dark, basically, metaphorically and physically,
yeah, there's
throughout the
something
entire
like,
movie.
The thing I'll say about Order, since that was my least favorite of the films, is that reading the book, it's actually one of out of all my copies of the books, that one's really dog-eared for me because I used to read that one, certain scenes from that over and over, particularly the Lost Prophecy chapter.
It's so good.
It's an amazing chapter, but in the movie, it's like 1 or 2 sentences.
And it's not explained properly.
It's not explained fully, and all we really get is, oh, one of them must kill the other before. And there's so much more. There's so much more to that.
There is power that he has. The Dark Lord knows not.
Yes.
Like, that whole thing is very important for Harry to understand.
And I just was so disappointed when I watched the movie. I was just like, we needed more there, and I love that chapter, you know. So
And yeah, like Chester said, they hate house elves because they kept cutting out Dobby's part, Creature's part, and everything.
Yeah, those are they're important.
Didn't you say that like Rowling had to fight to have Creature put in?
Rowling had to fight to get Creature put in because they were going to axe him altogether, and she said no. You have to put him in because
he's kind of a
a
linchpin of the story.
Yeah. You have to have him in there.
Yeah.
That would have been great though if they left him out, just to hear like the hardcore fans like you and Noel watching that movie.
Where the fuck is Creature?
Yeah.
And just add the whatever way they would have him figure out like RAB instead of that whole process.
That. Dumbledore in this movie,
He attached the locket to an owl before he died, and he flew out of the cave. That's how the locket got out.
That's gross. I hate it. A couple more things about Half-Blood Prince because I really hate this movie. And they actually just said it. Harry and Ginny's romance is awful. Like, awful. They have no chemistry. And part of it isn't the actor's fault, and I realize that. They can only do what they were given. And I don't blame the actress that played Ginny because, like, I don't know if she could act or not. She was never given a chance to do anything. So then when you set up this, which this is part of the problem with Order of the Phoenix as well, is they don't put Ginny in the story in Order of the Phoenix.
Not really. Yeah.
So Ginny really comes into her own as a part of the group in Order of the Phoenix. Like, she really grows. Her presence is a lot more to the forefront. She bonds with Harry over the dreams and the possession. And so then it sets it up to go further in Prince.
Right. That is exactly. But they don't do that in the movies.
But they don't do it. So then you get to Prince and they're like, oh, well.
All of a sudden they're...
It comes out of nowhere. It's really terrible. Isn't this the scene where she ties his shoes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She ties his shoe.
And then there's that one really cringy one where it's like, we have to hide the book. Let's hide the book so you can't find it. And it's like trying to be all flirtatious and stuff. And it's just like...
It's uncomfortable.
What the heck? This is weird.
Yeah, there was no chemistry between them. Like, I want to know what happened behind the scenes.
I don't want to know what happened.
And then Dumbledore was just so disappointing.
I mean, Dumbledore was disappointing in like every movie after the original actor died.
But this movie, he plays such a big role.
Yeah.
And the actor, like, oh, it's so bad. Like, there is one scene that really bothers me. When Harry shows up for lessons and Dumbledore says something like, oh, are you getting together with Miss Granger? I see you guys spend a lot of time together. Like, Dumbledore would never say that. He would never be interested in that. Like, ew. And it just is to, like, push for the Harry Hermione shippers and whatever else. And just to comment on the romantic comedy aspect of this. And it just...
Harry, you want some advice?
Ugh. Like, it was so out of character.
Let me show you the best use for that Engorgio spell.
It was so out of character. Also, we didn't get the other minister in the very beginning.
Yeah, and that was a great chapter.
It's one of the best opening chapters, and we didn't get it.
And instead, we get like Death Eaters destroying a bridge in like a Muggle town
in broad daylight.
Yeah, right. Which I get, like it's supposed to be like okay now,
that
but
stuff did happen. They mention in the books.
They were flying around in broad daylight like nasty black smoke clouds. Like, what is that? Not also that they can fly like that really pisses me off. I hate that they fly around.
Yeah, what's
like
the point of broomsticks if everyone can just fly?
The London fog is back. They blend in. Yeah, I will agree with you, Dennis. That scene with Dumbledore and like the firestorm with the Inferi in the cave. That was pretty badass.
I
That was
can't
an awesome
appreciate
scene.
it because I'm too pissed off by everything else that has already happened
I can
that I
because
can't
it was
even.
the only good part about that movie.
At this point, I'm just so disgusted that I'm just like,
We're gonna get to
whatever, whatever. Ugh. This movie sucks and I hate it. I could not get past it.
For
Also,
me,
the
just,
cave to me was just not creepy enough. It didn't give me the vibes, the boat, the cutting your hand, like, it just didn't.
Also, speaking of like cringeworthy type romance stuff, the Harry Cho stuff and Order.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I don't want to watch that.
Don't want to revisit Madame Puttyfoot's.
No, I do not want to have tea at the what is it?
Madame Puttyfoot?
Yeah, right, yeah. But also, last thing for me on Order is that when I read the book, there was a real sense of a rebelliousness with the Dumbledore's army,
Absolutely.
the students coming
Yes,
together,
yes.
and I don't think that part was, I guess it was okay, but it just did not sing like it did on the page. You couldn't do it. I mean, that was just so well thought out by Rowling on the page that it's tough to do. I think they gave it their best shot, but
I don't think so.
Now, in their defense, I do think they learned from their mistakes because then they did Deathly Hallows in 2 parts,
Right.
which is exactly
And-
what they should have done with both of those movies.
probably.
I
yeah.
wish they put Madame Puttyfoot's in that movie. I wanted to see that go down in flames so bad. It's so funny. Like, you could just see Harry making
No.
mistake after mistake.
I
It's
wouldn't
so
be able
funny.
to handle it. Like, first you have the Ginny awkwardness,
Yeah.
and then that. No, I couldn't take it.
See,
I'd have a mental
I feel
breakdown.
like I've watched The Office 1,000,001 times. I'm like, this isn't that cringe.
Oh man, it's so good.
So shall we move on to the next in our rankings?
I kind of gave mine away because it's
all right.
I agree, Melanie. I just want to touch on what she said.
Yeah.
His monster inside of himself, his monster of desire, with Ginny.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, like the beast inside or whatever, thumping
Yeah,
at his chest, trying to get out or whatever.
Reared up
Yeah.
inside. I agree
I
that
don't-
is difficult to portray in film, but
It's
I
hard,
think you could have done it. They had the budget to do whatever they wanted to. They could have, like, done color coding or something to kind of represent Harry's.
Look, they did enough color coding in all of the movies. All right, I don't remember that part where Cedric or Harry kisses Cho in front of Cedric's photo.
What?
I don't
Gosh.
recall this, but
Harry and Cho kiss in front of Cedric's photo in the movies, and Cedric yells, "Hey Potter, leave my girl alone."
this isn't ringing a bell for me. But
It
I don't-
doesn't.
Is it
But
is
I
it in the
also-
movie like there was a mirror, and there's like pictures and newspaper clippings like on the mirror,
Oh, maybe.
and maybe like
Oh, like
there was-
just like a little flash of Cedric
don't know,
or something.
because
there's
I
a
don't-
news article about Cedric like
Okay.
hanging
I
on the
don't
wall
remember
or
it,
something.
but I believe it just because they would do something like that.
Yeah, Dennis, I know what you're talking about. There's like newspaper clippings and pictures and stuff, and I think like Cedric's death, the article or something, is like on that or whatever.
Yeah.
What else is
Okay.
off? Everything else is just like.
Okay, we're
oh,
kind of talking about 2 books here, so let's just go to our second one because I think
okay.
we're gonna.
So now we're moving
Okay.
from our least favorite to our
alright.
second least favorite, right?
Yeah.
Like okay,
Second-
moving up in the chain. Okay.
Okay.
So should we do another 3, 2, 1 countdown?
Sure, because I'm pretty sure I know hers, but you're still a mystery.
History.
You might
I'm an
surprise
enigma
me on
wrapped
this
in a
one.
what is it?
In an
Never
onion.
mind. Yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Order of the
Goblet
Phoenix.
of Fire. Thank you.
Yes!
Oh my god. And okay, you said Order, which I had it my least favorite too. So yep. So but okay, let's talk about the Goblet of Fire movie then. What did you not like about it?
Everything.
Okay.
It was trash.
Anything else? I guess that covers it. I guess that really
Yeah.
covers it.
Um.
Well, okay. That's
Okay, let's break it down.
let's break it down.
Because
So
I have a lot of issues with Goblet
Alright.
of Fire.
well,
So
so
look at the chat is like, yes, everything. Everything. It's
in
garbage.
utter trash.
So Goblet of Fire a lot of the time is most people's least favorite movie.
hmm
And I think part of that is because it's also a lot of people's favorite book.
It's one of the best books.
People like really, really love Goblet of Fire. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people.
That's
really
where the story
love
starts crescendoing into an absolute epic.
It's the launch.
It's the launch point for whatever everything that
Yeah.
happened afterwards.
And it is a mastercraft of Rowling's part with the mystery. It's.
I think that's
it's not
when
my favorite, but it is such a well written.
It's absolutely, and I think it's where it really turned from, oh, this is just a phenomenon, kids love this series too, okay, this is actually maybe a story for the ages here. Yeah,
like this is an epic tale.
Yeah, this is an epic story. But okay, so Goblet of Fire I did rewatch this week. That was, again,
I'm sorry,
well, I didn't recall it that well. That was one of the ones I didn't recall. So here are some of my many issues. Ludo Bagman. Where is Ludo Bagman? Nowhere to be
That
seen.
was my
Preach.
biggest issue.
Nowhere to be seen. And the interaction between Bagman and Crouch kind of set the scene for the Triwizard tournament, you know, and for Bagman to not be there.
And the mystery of who is it?
Who is it? Who put his name in the Goblet of Fire? Who cast the dark mark at the Quidditch World Cup?
The first
they show you Barty Crouch Jr. in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yes, well, we're gonna get to Barty Crouch Jr.
Yeah, because like that's a whole Barty Crouch Jr. is an entire conversation.
Yeah, and I know you guys have done videos on specific characters. I think that would be, for just throwing it out there, because he's a fascinating character. But anyway,
that would be lipping good.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, no Bagman, which is disappointing. No Winky, which we can go on about Winky for probably ages. The fact that they basically wrote Winky out.
House elves.
Well, yeah. So, you know, it's key in the book that Winky is at the site of the dark mark being cast.
It's how they. It's part of how they figure it out.
Right. So, and I get that. I don't know. I couldn't speak to why they made that choice, but obviously it lessened it. It diminished it for me. But so anyway, anything else on Goblet? I'm just trying to think of a couple other things.
Okay.
I feel like we kind of went over why I hate Order already.
Yep.
We kind of
did I touch on a lot of your points
Pretty
as
much,
well?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So the dragon scene went on for way too long.
Mm-hmm.
The dragon just like fell to its death. Maybe not. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not sure actually. Yeah. What happened to the dragon? Yeah. I get that they had to make that a big spectacle action set piece.
It was too much.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you saw Barty Crouch Jr. within the first 5 minutes of the film, there's no mystery, and Goblet of Fire, more than any of the other books, is a mystery.
So
novel.
true.
Like it is a mystery novel.
Yeah.
Who
done it? It's a who done it.
Who put his name in the Goblet of Fire?
Right.
And
who is the traitor in our midst here?
Right.
Yeah.
Who's the plant? The whole lip licking thing gives it away. They talk. I don't know how many times they talk about Polyjuice Potion to like They treat their audience like they're stupid.
Yeah. When I rewatched this one, there's a scene where it's just like, oh, Snape confronting Harry about stealing the boomslang skin.
You're making Polyjuice
Right.
Potter.
And it's like, what? And like, if I was a newcomer to the, or well, you know what I mean? Like, it just kind of, like you said, gives it away a bit. I mean, it ruins the mystery of it.
It's like
you know?
they thought that people weren't going to read the books before they went and saw the movie or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, the thing with Goblet, the movie, there's so much material, they rushed it. Oh, and here's my other thing. Oh my god, the third task, the maze.
Oh, it's so bad.
Okay, so in the book, there's like a sphinx and like cool shit happening. And
the mist that turns Harry like upside down.
Oh my god, I forgot
he has,
that.
Like a mini crisis.
That is one of the
cool. Like, in there.
That is actually low key awesome. I forgot about that, but that is badass. Instead, it's just like evil trees.
Yeah.
Evil roots.
What does Dumbledore say? The mist will change. You'll change in the mist, or whatever.
Yeah, you will walk. You will not walk out the same, or something like that. I would have loved to see that. That'd be like an acid trip, that scene. But instead, we get evil trees.
Where everything is just too dark for me.
It is.
Timothy does make a good point. Where was Charlie? Charlie wasn't even in the movie.
Charlie, great point. Great point.
Some of the casting choices were really weird for me.
I want a Charlie spinoff anyway. Just throwing it out there.
Cedric was great casting.
Yeah.
I thought Robert Pattinson was
he did a great job.
I feel like most of the casting was pretty good. That's why.
Victor Crumb? Whoa, way off. Way off. That is not Victor Crumb. I also...
Look, that's movie ugly, okay?
I also
thought... I'm sure he's quite dapper in real life.
The choice to make the Beauxbatons students all female and the Durmstrang students all male was really dumb because you had this like hyper feminine thing going on and this super masculine thing going on.
You
and it
know,
was
one of the
stupid.
things I really didn't like,
And like
it
the way
really-
that their butt, they like focus in on the girls' butts wiggling.
I was
that
about
was
to
weird.
say that. Like, I didn't like that part. It was weird. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason. Like,
Children.
exactly. Like,
They're like,
okay,
yeah.
you want to show Ron, you know, checking them out, whatever.
that's
That's
yeah,
fine, but
that's one thing.
we
But,
don't
like,
need to check
yeah.
them out.
Right? Why do I need to see that?
Exactly.
I just watched this one this weekend. Yeah, the Beauxbaton students, they just come like sauntering in doing this like crazy little dance.
It's
And then the
weirdly
Durmstrang,
sexual, right?
it is weirdly sexual. And then the Durmstrang people, right? They come in like pounding their staffs like, oh, it's like really like militaristic. It's like, what the heck is going on? This is weird. Also, like, okay, you're Dumbledore, you're a headmaster at a student. Let's hold a deadly tournament and let's just, this is good. This is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. I think Goblet of Fire movie also don't do the lake properly based on an explanation.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the challenges really weren't done well.
Yeah. I would say probably my favorite of the tasks as on film was the lake, actually, because I liked the mer people. I thought they looked kind of cool.
It was not a bad take on.
It was not a bad take on that
making them
scene.
Actually, look fish-like, and
It
not
was certainly
beautiful.
better for me than the dragon scene and the maze. So I'll just say that.
Also, I'm gonna throw it out here again. Dobby gives Harry the gillyweed
Oh my God, yes.
in the book, and that's part of the whole reason why
forgot
Snape
that.
is pissed off because he can't figure out who's going in and stealing shit.
And Neville
And
gives
it's-
it to him in
and
the movie,
Neville
right?
gives it to him
Neville's
in the
one that gives
movie.
it to him. Yeah. Yeah, and just
It's
the
dumb.
movies just have no time for the house elves. It's like, what? Yeah.
And that would have been integral to setting up
Movies were directed by Voldemort.
Harry's relationship with
Maybe
Dobby.
Umbridge.
Um,
Directed by Voldemort, produced by Umbridge.
Yeah.
We don't need to
I
give the
do-
It's like a
half-breeds
propaganda
that.
film from like, yeah, it's like a Russian film in the 1940s or something.
I do think Ralph Fiennes is a great Voldemort, though.
Okay, I will say this for Goblet of Fire. The scene in the graveyard is grotesque when it is amazing gothic horror when Voldemort rises out of that cauldron.
Yeah.
He's like slimy and looks so weird. Like
That's how you do a dark scene. Like,
exactly.
it's
You gotta be able to
dark,
see
it's
exactly.
moody, but you
Yeah.
can see everything. Like,
And also-
they did a great job with that.
Yeah, so I will give the graveyard scene is probably for me the highlight of that film.
They did really
Melanie
well.
says she saw Beauxbaton and Durmstrang as like a Goldilocks thing. Beauxbaton was too feminine,
Uh-huh.
and Durmstrang was too masculine.
Hogwarts was just right.
Hogwarts was just right.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I could okay.
I
I
can
can
see
see
that.
that way.
The Priory Incantatum scene.
Okay, yeah, tell me more.
So I did not like the visual of how the spell work looked.
Mhm.
How it looked like molten lava. It kind of almost had like a lightsaber melting quality to it that
Okay.
I wasn't into. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
But then
Make Harry Potter sci-fi.
it had a sci-fi feel to it. Then so this happens and he sees the
The ghosts coming out and stuff.
whatever. And then all of a sudden after like Dumbledore is in their bedroom for some reason, which is weird. Why is he in their bedroom? And then Harry like
Wanted to
tells
make
him what
sure Harry
happened.
and Ginny weren't getting into anything, you know?
Right. They're only
Mhm.
14 after all.
But then like he doesn't explain what it is. He just goes,
Oh, he's like, Priority Incantatum, and we're like, what's that?
if you haven't read the books, you're not gonna know what
Yeah.
that is.
Well, okay, so that
It's like
scene.
what I was suggesting in the beginning. Let's not explain why we ranked the books there. What's your favorite book? Sorcerer's Stone. Moving on.
also,
it's not
if
my
you
favorite
don't
book,
understand
by the
what
way,
Priory Incantatum is,
You're gonna miss out on the key context.
you're
right?
not
Right?
gonna
Yeah.
you're not gonna understand
Yeah.
how the thing in the forest happened when Barty Crouch Jr. cast the Dark Mark.
Yeah.
But they didn't need to do that because they just showed Harry looking at him casting the
Right.
freaking spell. Like,
Also, for the record, one of my favorite chapters in Goblet, I think we've talked about this, the madness of Mr. Crouch.
oh, it's so
I
good.
loved
Yeah.
that chapter.
Where
I
he's
was,
just
that's
losing
another
his mind,
losing his shit. He's just like babbling incoherently.
Yeah.
That's another one of the I would reread that over and over. I just found it hilarious. But in the movie, they just kill Crouch off.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that didn't happen. He was just crazy, right? That's all? He was
No,
driven mad? Or did he die?
Yeah, he dies.
Oh, he did die? All right.
Barty Crouch Jr. kills him and turns him into a bone?
Oh,
Or someone
all
does.
right.
Was it
In the book,
Junior?
yeah.
Okay, I forgot that.
Yeah, he goes into the forest as Moody.
That's right. That's right.
Kills
All
him
right,
and turns him into a bone and buries him.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. So how did we all feel about the Yule Ball?
On the positive side, we get a who's who of British rock stars as the Weird Sisters. We've got Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead is in there. I think we had the singer of Pulp in there. I mean, that was great. Just as a music freak fan,
Okay.
that was cool. Everything else sucked.
I didn't like Hermione's whole thing,
Yeah.
but it didn't. The Hermione thing didn't pay off because they prettied her up in Azkaban, and she's like pretty in the movies.
It's
So
like-
then when it's just like, oh, she just is wearing a dress.
What
Yeah,
There's
at
no
that- At that
payoff.
point, her character didn't even have curly hair.
No,
like normally,
like
so-
But, like-
bushy, thick hair. Like yeah,
And that was supposed to be the thing. She used the...
Oh,
Tons
the
of that
special
shampoo.
thing.
Yeah,
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 special
yeah.
ends the whole like teeth. Wasn't there like Malfoy cast a spell to make her teeth, and then
like
they
grow.
Yeah.
yeah, and then they wound up getting fixed or something like that. Right. Yeah.
So she always had buck teeth, and
Right.
then like Madame Pomfrey puts them back, and
Right.
Hermione just told her to stop.
Which is hilarious because her parents are dentists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What? Okay.
that's why
We won't even go on
Irony.
about that. Yeah, irony. Yeah, sure. Yeah, irony. But oh, sorry. We should look at the comments here.
Oh, I was just looking and listening.
But what was I gonna say? What do they call it in Jane Austen books where it's like a coming out party or something for like in Pride and Prejudice? What is it for?
Oh, when you
for-
come out, yeah,
like as a available person.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
um,
There's a term for it. I just
yeah,
couldn't
I
think of the name.
that's- Yeah,
That's what they were trying to do with Hermione in that scene, I think, and it just again fell flat for me. I don't know. I mean, it's
let's
fine.
not overlook the Patil twins. Their dress robes were all Hippogriff song does go hard.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, yeah.
I loved
the
it.
Hippogriff song was good.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good.
I love that when it's like a mosh pit.
Yeah. I mean, that was like this is kids.
That
at
was
a
fun.
dance.
That was
It
a
is
fun.
Kids at a dance.
That was just a fun scene.
But yeah, Hermione's
dress was done wrong as well.
debutante ball. Yeah,
Debutante. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. Something like that. Yeah.
Hermione's dress is wrong. It's not pink. It's supposed to be blue. But like they color coded Hermione to be pink.
Mhm.
So like the costume designer picked colors for the three,
Mhm.
and they picked pink for Hermione.
But also, how lazy is that?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, she's the girl. She's gonna have pink. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
Like they're a
That's
cartoon
so
character
stupid.
that wears the same thing every day, you know?
Yeah,
And
I
it-
hated it.
Yeah. So, Yule Ball. Thumbs down.
Oh yeah, going back to
Yeah.
Half-Blood Prince, they cut out Will and Won't,
They did cut out Will and Won't.
which was one of
That's
the
a funny
best-
chapter.
The
Exactly.
Dursleys get their comeuppance.
But they
from
would have had
Dumbledore.
to include
Yeah.
Creature.
So we
Yep.
can't have
Couldn't
it.
have it. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. If there's going to be a house elf in it, you can't have it.
Won't.
What do you think?
Right?
We have Warner
Won't,
Brothers
won't,
money for this
won't.
CGI?
Yeah. It's not like we have a multi-million-dollar company funding these.
Billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not anymore.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how things work. But okay, so anything else you had on order, Evan?
No, it sucks.
Yeah, not a fan. Yeah,
already
not a fan.
We already went
We
over
went over
everything we
order.
hated.
Yeah, pretty much.
So shall we move on then, or anything else? Anything else on Goblet? I think I said aired all my grievances.
They didn't include the egg in the eye, and that's like my favorite chapter in that book.
Oh, that's
I
where
love that.
is that where he reads the egg in the bath?
It's but then he gets stuck in the step,
Oh my God, he gets
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
in the step.
and like Moody, Crouch,
Oh, that's right.
Snape, and Filch show up. and
Again,
Snape's in his like
Snape's in,
nightgown.
yeah, Snape's in his James.
yeah.
And, like, that's where like the mystery really starts because Harry sees Crouch on the map.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
You think Alan Rickman was just like, I'm not doing this? But I'm not doing this.
Should have. Like one of the best parts of the book.
It is. It's pretty great.
It's awesome.
All right, are we going on to next chapter?
Next chapter. Again, we're going from least favorite to
Yeah,
most favorite.
Yeah,
Alright.
Sirius wasn't even in that movie, like, at all.
Which one?
Well, he was in, like, the fireplace.
Yeah,
Goblet of Fire.
he had the fireplace thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where in the book he goes up and sees him, right? He
Yeah.
goes up and sees him in the cave. That cave
And they
hideout.
talk about Bertha Jorkins.
Right.
Also, no Bertha
No
Jorkins.
Bertha Jorkins. That's like a huge tip off that Voldemort's back.
Yeah, it's a big clue.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a good point, Melanie.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good point.
That is a good point.
And yeah,
That's
I did
solid.
just rewatch that, and she is certainly in a better mood in that movie.
She's also, she might just be in a better mood because Harry is in the bath.
That is, probably true. No Percy in Goblet of Fire as well. Someone said.
Mhm.
Dennis said, "Yep, that's another one." Especially considering, Percy is just written out of the entire movies entirely.
He is, which
Yeah,
is terrible.
It's
because
terrible. Yeah, he's a good. Yeah, no, it's great. He's a good character.
He has his fallout with his parents and that whole arc.
Yeah, kind of sowing seeds of doubt
Yeah,
here and there.
it's the setup for the split.
But then
Exactly.
they would have had to include that instead of Bellatrix bringing down the burrow. Where would they have found the time?
Where, yeah, we can't cut that scene.
No.
Yeah, we need that for like
joining
trailers
from
and stuff.
Germany. Welcome.
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 Epic entry into Privet Drive is also missing. Oh my god, yeah.
Wait, they don't have that? I could have sworn they did.
Is that the one where they do flue powder
In the
into their
fireplace?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's in the book.
That is
I
a
thought they did that in the
hilarious
movie.
part.
maybe I just had such a vivid
The
memory
movie
of it.
starts
Yeah.
after the whole thing at the Riddle House. The movie starts with
At the
Harry
Quidditch Cup.
Harry's already at the Burrow.
That's right. And then they
Oh,
go to
yeah,
the
that's
Portkey and
right.
stuff. Yeah.
No, that would have been great to see Dudley with
The tongue and
Yeah.
I
everything.
forgot that.
Look
Yeah, that
like
is
lick a tongue.
Tongue.
He would have been
Tommy.
like the perfect body shape too.
Yeah, Fred and George, right? They slip him the tongue toffee.
Yeah, they slip. Yeah,
Yeah.
they slip him the candy.
Oh, see, we should have had that instead of
Anything
just put it
else.
in there. It
Anything
would have
else.
taken like 7 minutes.
It's a 5-minute.
Come on.
scene.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna refill my cup, so
You
I'll be
missed
right
the
back.
Alright.
place.
Do you need anything more
You
there?
can just.
Yeah, sure.
I
I'll
mean, it's
give
not
you.
empty, but
All
you
right.
can.
All right, so I guess we'll wait to reveal the next one. Now I'm kind of wondering what your guys is gonna be. I mean, I don't know. I'm surprised you didn't say order yet, to be honest.
I hate Goblet more than I hate Order.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, because I hate Goblet more than I hate Order because I feel like they butchered the story worse in Goblet than they did in Order.
You think so?
Yeah. Like, the crimes against the mystery and Crouch and the tongue licking and all of that were just so egregious. Order felt more like they just left a ton of shit out. And picked weird things to include. And
Yeah,
less
but
like...
I guess if they had included it, they probably would have done a goblet to it. So maybe, count your blessings. It might be a good thing that they left it out. Who knows what they would have done?
All right. Are we ready to go with what's next?
Yep. So now we're going from least favorite again to first
Yep,
favorite, just so we have
Third
that.
worst.
Third worst. Okay. Wait, let me just think for a sec. Okay. Are we ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Goblet.
Order
Half-Blood
the
Prince.
Phoenix.
So
Sorry.
you said order,
A goblet.
and I said Half-Blood Prince. So we all have
So
the
all-
same three,
it's
just
the
in
same
different
three.
order.
Yeah.
And then,
Orders.
yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting. So you say order. So you prefer order to Goblet. And,
I do.
Okay. Any particular reason? Just curious. Anything that sticks out for you?
I felt like the one thing they excelled at two things very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Luna Lovegood
Mm-hmm.
and Umbridge.
I knew you were gonna. And yeah, Umbridge was well done. I
Umbridge
can
was
definitely
really
admit
well
that.
done.
Yeah, I can admit that.
And the scenes that they chose to do with Luna, even though like the whole thing with Luna feeding the Thestrals and Harry is not in the book,
Mm-hmm.
but it was well written enough that like it could have happened in the book, and it was a good way to kind of put that bonding over death thing out there. And I thought they just cast her well. They wrote her well.
That is a nice scene, yeah.
And I think that's well done.
Oh, and she's great. Ivana Lynch did an amazing job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Everyone loves Luna.
But I still have massive issues with it.
Oh, of course.
But I do think they did those two things well.
It was elevated enough for you.
Also, everyone's hair was better in this movie than in Goblet.
Everyone's hair?
Yes.
Really?
Saying.
Jesus. Okay. That's one way to go about it.
Everyone looked terrible in Goblet. They look terrible.
All right. So I guess.
Did you even see Ron in that movie? Did you physically see him?
Yeah,
that was painful. Oh my god.
I didn't
I'm
really
offended.
care.
I'm just kidding.
I just kind of wanted.
I'm joking.
I was basing it all on their acting ability. But okay, so Goblet. The only reason I rank it higher than Order. Was they at least
I do as well.
included like I don't want to say everything, but most of the things from the book. I feel like they put more in, and Order, it just felt like there was a lot more left out, and they just kind of did their own thing with it.
Yeah. It's like, Goblet's very, like, you can go, it's pretty simple formula, right?
I wouldn't say they nailed anything in it,
right.
but they tried to fit everything
Structurally,
in.
you're saying, it was more sound.
And yes,
Exactly.
Melanie, you are correct. We all feel that all those movies are in the bottom, just in different orders.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll say my piece for Half-Blood Prince. I think that the score is one of the most memorable scores actually for me.
Okay.
It's like it has some great like kind of lilting passages during the kind of rom-com parts, which kind of makes it more palatable for me. So even though it's kind of crazy tonal shifts happening in that book and movie, the score kind of helps it go together. I also feel that it's beautifully shot. I don't know what you guys are going on about with the colors being bad in Half-Blood Prince. It's gorgeously photographed, that movie. It is dark at times, but I don't know. It has a good look. To me, certainly better cinematography than Order and Goblet. That's just me.
I think I could have appreciated it more if I didn't hate it so much.
Okay, that makes sense.
I get you gotta do like a dark tone, but they just went a little overboard for me.
Yeah.
Those movies.
Oh, also,
I couldn't appreciate the cinematography because I hated it too much.
You're too busy hating the movie.
Yeah, I couldn't see past the shit I hated to appreciate the filmmaking aspect.
Also, a huge highlight for me in Half-Blood Prince is Jim Broadbent as Horace Slughorn.
He was good.
He was just funny. He
played the part.
The part pretty well. And not really how he looks. And, you know, I had a very different.
Nothing looked
nothing like the character on the page, but he had a quirky acting style,
which again was kind of lazy because he could have just thrown a fat suit on the man. He did a great job acting. But he just didn't look the part was the only issue.
Yeah, that's true. This is all true. But yeah, I mentioned it before. We don't get the House of Gaunt. We don't get Lord Voldemort's request. For me, that was my favorite part of that book is going into Voldemort's memories and seeing all this cool stuff. And we only really get when he's a young kid, and then just the Slughorn memory. That's like really it.
Yeah.
We do get some great acting from Daniel Radcliffe, though, during the Felix Felicitas scene where he's high on luck.
Felix Felicis?
When he's high on luck drugs. He
did that well. He acted that well.
He was so funny in that. That was great.
And see, I thought the scene in Order of the Phoenix where Harry asks Sirius if he's bad, I thought that was a great dynamic between him and Sirius, and Order really lacked a lot of Sirius. There should have been more Sirius. I also hate that he yells "Nice one, James" right before he dies. I really don't like that. And I also don't like that like Bellatrix hits him with Avada Kedavra and then he falls into the veil. Like he dies and then falls into the veil in the film.
I wouldn't.
That's not how it happened.
I honestly wouldn't have cared if he wasn't like turning and then looking at Harry like he's still alive. Avada Kedavra is supposed to kill you instantly.
Right.
I
But that's how
wouldn't
it
have even cared
plays
what
out,
spell
yeah.
he got hit with, but you're breaking continuity with two different things.
You're not being consistent with the rules of the magic.
Yeah.
And you're not being consistent with the book.
The whole thing with Sirius falling into the veil is that Harry isn't sure what happened.
And neither is the reader. The reader of the book is, what is this? What is happening?
Right.
Yeah, all we
But
know
in
is
the
that
film,
he's gone.
It's like,
he's just
yo,
gone.
Bellatrix killed him and he went through that thing.
And it's
Right.
like, no,
That's how
he
it
just
reads.
Yeah, totally.
And
There's more
Did he
ambiguity
go to
in
an alternate universe? Is
Right.
he
Right, like
chilling
what
with
happened
Rick and Morty right now? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, right, exactly. And like, what is the veil?
Yeah,
like,
I agree. Bella beat Sirius. That is what happened. Bellatrix beat him. She didn't kill him.
agree, I
She
agree.
beat him, and he fell into the thing.
yeah, she did
It
beat
does
him
do
fair and
Bella.
square.
It does
Yeah.
do her an injustice. She was the better witch in the duel.
Yeah, and we have to admit that Bellatrix was a formidable witch.
Yeah,
we can't just
Bellatrix was.
we can't just dismiss her because she's a bad guy. You know, it's
No,
just, yeah,
she's like crazy powerful.
crazy talented. Yeah,
I gotta cut in with you guys because I just gotta read this. Imagine if they included Sanguini, the vampire in Half-Blood Prince.
that would have been
That
great.
would've been great.
That would have been
I
great.
just loved Luna talking to Trelawney about the goblin conspiracy with Fudge, like all that stuff.
Well, now I just want a Luna Trelawney team up show. That's what I want
Right.
now. Yeah, that'd be great.
The two actresses just need to make a podcast.
And Sirius just isn't like he's not in it enough.
Yeah, for his death to matter.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's not in it enough.
One thing about Order that I really like is when they're at Grimmauld Place, Sirius is the way Rowling writes the chapters.
Yeah,
You can tell he's distraught. He's depressed.
He's having a
so
hard time.
depressed. And I mean, obviously, there's just
he's
only so
described
much
at one
screen
point
time.
like a
but...
dead man walking around the
Yeah.
house or something. Like yeah.
And you know, Gary Oldman, of course, is a phenomenal actor.
Oh, one of my
I
favorites,
mean,
yeah.
like, couldn't have cast Sirius better.
Right?
But-
Another instance where you're paying this amazing actor and then you're not even gonna put him in. Like,
Also,
Right.
what's wrong?
Why did
What?
he transform back into a human at the train station?
Did he do that in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dumb.
It's so.
He's supposed to be the dog's supposed to, like, you know, go up like,
Yeah, and,
but
like, hug
still
him and
remain a
stuff.
dog. You know? Yeah.
The directors just had something against CGI, I think. I don't know. They were penny pinching or something, but they wouldn't do the house elves. He had to turn back into a human.
Right.
Maybe there was something in his contract they had to get so much screen time or something.
I don't know.
And yet those movies still cost so much money.
Yeah. Can I see Uranus Lavender?
Couldn't
You know, how does that work for Ron? Never worked for me.
couldn't do Oh, also Grop sucks. Grop was terrible. He looked so stupid.
My
He
favorite.
looked awful. I can't even look at him in the movie. Grop is so bad.
Honestly,
He
Grop.
looks like a giant baby.
I mean,
Like a giant toddler.
maybe he is a baby.
He's a big giant baby.
He's a giant.
He's a giant big
Giant baby.
And also, it's one of the few times where Hermione is like scared shitless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that scene falls flat in the movie.
And she like yells at him. Like 90% of the time, like Hermione's got this, she knows. But then Grop like actually freaks her out.
Yeah.
And in the movies, she looks like she's gonna cry in like every scene.
Yeah.
But then when Grop shows up, she's like, "No, Grop, you stop it!" And I'm like, "Do we even know who Hermione is? I don't think we do because she's about to cry
Yeah.
in every scene."
Yeah.
Which movie is it where she just goes, "Boy"?
That's in
Goblet.
that's Goblet where Ron and Harry make up
Yeah, we're
after
running-
they were
yeah,
having their
after the
little
Goblet thing.
spat.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
she's like, "Boys."
I hate that so much. I hate, like that specific scene
It angers you.
angers me every time. I'm like, "You gonna fucking cry, Hermione? Like, get what?
See, I was
Who
thinking
are
it
you?"
was Deathly Hallows, but I think there's definitely a scene we can talk about with Hermione in that one that was pretty
There's
bad.
plenty left to be to
There
go
are plenty
over.
of
Yeah,
Hermione
plenty of
things that
to
I can
talk
complain about.
The character Nigel, was he in the books? I don't
Nope.
remember Nigel.
Nigel, who's Nigel?
Yeah. Who?
Oh,
he definitely
Nigel,
wasn't in the books, but I can't think of who he was
God,
in the
yeah,
movies.
do you?
He's not in the books.
Oh,
Yeah, but who was he in the movies?
He's in Goblet of Fire, and he's just this kid. That's
is he like a Colin
wa-
Creevy style kid?
Yeah, he
okay.
wants Harry's autograph. And
Okay.
Ron's like, "Not now, Nigel. Not now."
Oh, okay.
Go.
Okay. All right.
Funny that
Melanie says Grop looked like Alfred E. Newman
Mm?
from Mad Magazine. That is so true.
Yeah,
That is so true.
Yeah, he does.
What? Me worry? Right? Wasn't that the catchphrase?
Yeah, what me worry.
What me worry?
Mad Magazine's parody. Mad Magazine did a parody?
Mad Magazine did parodies of movies and TV shows all the time.
Oh yeah.
I used to have a subscription.
Yeah, I used to read those and crack up at those.
Oh my god,
They were so
the
funny.
Lost one was so
Mad
great.
and Warner are both owned by Warner Brothers? See, I didn't know this.
I didn't
I wish Mad was still a thing.
Is it? It's not still a thing. No, is it? No.
I'm pretty sure the magazine closed down.
Boo. That was funny.
Yeah,
They had a
I
really
loved
great.
that.
Maybe it's still like an online comic or something. But
Did you? I liked the Sergio Aragones like in between the
like the ongoing
margins-
little thing?
the margins ones.
The
like, in
margins
between
ones.
The frame.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes!
those were so good.
Those were funny, yeah. And is that where Spy versus Spy was too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always loved that Spy versus Spy.
I always loved the TV show too.
Oh
We're
yeah.
going off on a tangent.
No,
but,
that's fine. I used to love that, you know. But Mad Magazine had amazing parodies. Like I remember the Batman Begins. They did a parody of that one.
Mhm.
It was like Batty Man Be Gone. That was for some
Mhm.
reason I remember this. It was just hilarious. They also had a Matrix parody where
I
like
knew the Harry Potter one, Lord of the Rings.
yep.
Was bored of the Rings.
Board of the Rings. They did a Matrix parody where it was like, you know, Neo fighting all the agents, and then it was just a guy sweeping up all the sunglasses.
I remember that. Yeah. Yep.
Because they, of course, they have to be cool. You have to wear sunglasses to be cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still online. I'm gonna have to look that up. It's been a long time.
Definitely.
I would love to see something like Men in Black with Harry and Draco in the leads. I'm sold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're horrors.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Law and horror.
Perfect. Perfect. Oh my god.
But Harry would have to be Will Smith. Because I couldn't see Draco.
Being Will Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Draco would have to be the
or
straight.
maybe it's a Draco and like Harry's kid later on.
What is it? Albus and
Like
what was it?
Albus Severus or
Scorpius.
Scorpius is Draco's son, I
Right.
guess.
Well, I was just thinking about Tommy Lee Jones and Men in Black, and like, you know,
Which
you have to have a mentor figure. You know, it's
Yeah.
not. It doesn't perfectly work. You could
Yeah,
have
you
something
could
like
have Harry.
Harry. You could have Harry and
Harry and Draco would have to be like the other guys.
it'd be the other guys. Yeah, the other guy. Exactly. Thank you. That's another good one. Yeah.
Rush Hour.
I'm a peacock. You
I
gotta
love
let me
Rush Hour.
fly.
You gotta let me fly. I'm a phoenix. You must let me fly.
No, that would be Draco. I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Oh man. Cute. Yes.
All right. Are we ready to do our next one?
Yep. So now we're in the middle, right? So
This
now
is for
this is
yeah. This
so
is
now
right
it's
in the middle.
right in the
This is where
middle.
it gets like kind of difficult.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna have a lot of
Differing opinions.
But now we're getting closer to our favorites now.
Yeah.
So now it's trending more towards what we
I feel like
like,
I could've
rather
com-
than what we don't like.
I could have
Okay.
complained a lot more about Order of the Phoenix, but I won't.
Okay.
I could have talked a lot more about everything else I hate.
I'm just glad we all agree that we're actually all pretty close so far
yeah.
in our rankings.
And we're
yeah.
all pretty solid in agreement about what we did not like.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
that we all brought up some good points, and yeah.
Like I said, I can see why you would appreciate the filming of Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah,
But
just as a lover of film,
I can't see it.
I will stand by. I like the cinematography a lot, and I like Alan Rickman's probably best performance in the whole series. I think is in Half-Blood
One
Prince.
last thing about Order of the Phoenix. It ends on like a really high uplifting note. and that's dumb, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like
It's like
doom and gloom.
somber and
Yeah.
sad. Like
Yeah.
Harry's grieving over Sirius, and like Harry doesn't really grieve over Sirius. He's just like,
And plus
"Oh,
now-
well, he's
right.
dead.
He's
But
dead. Yeah, my only family member's
he's
dead.
crying
Plus
over
now
Snape.
I'm like supposed to be the chosen one. Like destiny is on my shoulders.
Except
like
we're not going to really explain it at all.
we're never gonna explain it in just one line. Where it was my favorite chapter, and they're just not okay. We have already talked about it.
And this is where they introduce the Death Eaters being able to fly
Yep.
as like dark smoke, and then
Mhm.
the Order of the Phoenix comes in as like streams of light,
Right.
and
Oh
it's
yeah.
just very like black is bad, white is good. This is how you know who the bad guys are. When the whole thing is about how people are gray.
Ambiguous.
Okay, done.
Anywho.
Done.
Anywho. Okay.
Okay, done.
So
Sorry.
now we're in the middle now, right? We're in
Yep,
the middle.
Next,
okay.
next.
So
Th-
are we gonna
th-
do
This
another?
one's probably my most difficult one, honestly.
I-
Like, after
it's
this,
getting
I
more
know
difficult
exactly
now.
Which
It's
ones
getting
I
more
wanna do.
difficult.
I had an easier time.
This
Okay.
this is
Oh,
gonna
interesting.
come down to like last second because I'm still not sure. All right,
Okay.
we ready?
That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so we're in the middle here.
Yep.
So another countdown.
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Chamber of
Deathly
Secrets.
Hallows Part 2.
Ooh.
Oh.
So you said Hallows Part 1.
No, I
I
said
said
Hallows
one.
Part 2.
Oh, you said 2. You said Hallows Part 1,
Yeah.
and I say Chamber. Interesting.
Okay.
Very, very interesting.
Okay.
So I have a lot of things to say about Deathly Hallows since it seems well, let's have someone go.
Maybe you should go first because
All right.
you're not in Hallows territory.
That's a good
you
point.
picked Chamber.
So okay.
Yes, Melanie. I figured.
Oh yeah. So
It's the Dexter. I have created this perfect school, and Umbridge comes in like Dee Dee and says,
what does this button do?
Dude.
Kaboom. Oh god, I love a good Dexter's lab reference.
Dee Dee, you
Yeah.
get out of my lab.
Yeah.
Welcome to Voldemort's laboratory.
Yeah. I always loved
Okay,
it.
get out of my lab.
Yeah. And he just goes into his closet and gets sucked down into his little laboratory. And then Mandark? What was his nemesis?
Mandark.
Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Right? That was his laugh. Why do I know these things? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was a great
Man-
It was a great show, yeah.
Mandark reminds me of I'm sorry, so off topic.
No, it's okay.
But he reminds me of the other villain in the first Despicable Me movie.
Oh yeah. Oh
He's like
yeah.
Mandark, like all grown up.
That is so true. I love those movies though.
I did too.
They're
very
fun.
good.
Okay, so what was I talking about? Chamber of Secrets. And again, so now we're getting towards what we like, I think, rather than what we don't like. And there's a lot I like about Chamber of Secrets. I just want to be clear that I really like that movie.
Mhm.
There's an epic scene at the end with the basilisk fight. That all to me was picture perfect. The casting of Kenneth Branagh as Gilderoy Lockhart, picture perfect, right?
Hands down.
The morbid nature of the Muggleborns being killed, or not killed, but
petrified
incapacitated,
thing, yeah,
petrified. This slow building gloom. But here's my big problem with Chamber.
Go for it.
It's too long. I actually looked it up. It's the longest movie. Out of all the movies, it is
Really?
the longest one. Just think about that. Chamber is the longest film. That's too long. It was 161 minutes. I actually looked this all up. That's surprising, isn't it? I would have never thought that.
Order
They're saying it's
is
like
the
this.
shortest movie,
So how crazy is that?
which is very stupid.
Yeah. So Chamber, again, I think it's good, but it drags a bit.
I was gonna say, do you have pacing problems?
It has some pacing problems. And again, I love the book is great. I know I love the book. So I really don't have problems. There's that dumb scene in the movie where they're flying the car and Harry's almost falling out. That didn't happen in the book.
Nope, it didn't.
No. So they need to add some peril, kind of like the Bellatrix thing with and the burrow. And it's like I get it. You got to have some kind of peril, but it's like he's going to fight a giant snake at the end. There's peril, okay? And so that's just my thing. Dobby, I love Dobby in the movie. I think they did Dobby pretty well in Chamber. But I just think it drags a bit. And
Lucius Malfoy, anyone?
also, at the end he's about to kill Harry with the Avada Kedavra.
Yeah, that's
come
that's
on,
so
come on,
Yeah.
no.
So
Yeah,
stupid.
really, right outside Dumbledore's office, Lucius. Right, I'm like,
It's
like, really?
Every time I watch it, I'm just like, Lucius,
Yeah.
don't do it.
and
then he
again,
does it,
I still
and
think
it's terrible.
we need to. Jason Isaacs throughout the entire movie series killed it
He's
as
so good.
Lucius. Incredible.
I want him to play Lucius in the TV show, even though he's probably too old. But I still want him to play the part.
I want him to. I want him. I like him a lot. But anyway, so that's my thing on. Okay, someone has something. I like the Howard scene. I was mad about the movie.
I know what you're talking about, Melanie.
A lot of sexual imagery apparently in these stories.
There is.
I was just
There is. I know what
That's a
you're talking
good
about,
point.
Melanie, because I remember reading about that in your abstract. They go down into this.
Yeah, I don't remember this.
They go down into this womb-like chamber, and he has to rescue the unconscious girl. And
got it.
It's
Okay,
very much
sorry, I
about,
was a little
like,
lost.
From another man's snake.
From the Harry.
See, now I get it. No, I'm just kidding.
Harry is like the hero male, and Tom Riddle is like the predatory male.
Gotcha.
And like coming to terms with your budding sexuality. And there's just a lot of
different
imagery.
ways that your masculinity can manifest, like good or bad. Is that right? Am I off course? Probably.
I would say that
Your microphone went out when you leaned forward.
Uh-oh.
Can you guys still
Can you
hear
still
us?
hear me? I don't know. I might have messed it up. Testing.
You guys should be good. You might have like moved past the mic.
Oh, like
And
maybe
that's
move
why.
too far
Yeah.
forward.
I was too excited probably about something. Probably all that sexual stuff you were talking about.
Lockhart walks into a bar and asks the waitress, "Do I come here often?"
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Love that.
So, but anyway,
that's one of the reasons why Chamber isn't like low on my list. Is because Lockhart was great.
He was phenomenal. Perfect casting. That was just so good. My complete works free of charge. Yeah. Right. Yes. That was great. Yes. Okay, that's enough for me on
Do you want to
Chamber.
go next, or do you want me to go next?
You can go next. I'll go last.
All right. I say Deathly Hallows Part 1 because Part 1 was just kind of boring. It's kind of blah. I feel like they got a lot right and stuff, and I had no problem really with continuity. I just didn't think it was interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to say this. Also, why Half-Blood Prince is the worst movie. Dumbledore's funeral. Where was it?
Oh yeah, that's a whole chapter in the book. With Fox and stuff. Yeah.
Phoenix song.
Yeah. Good point.
Gotta resurrect the
What the
baby,
heck?
like,
Now I'm
marble
mad.
stone.
Yeah.
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 Darn it, I tried to get us past this point.
You did your best. Okay, so sorry. You were saying part 1, you found it a little not captivating. I kind of agree with you here. When they go into the woods, things slow to a crawl, and
it really does.
Yeah.
I feel like that whole movie was a necessary setup for part 2, and I think they did it well, but the pacing was off. That's a movie where I almost wish they would have cut some stuff out. Help move it along a little bit faster.
Yeah. The whole just the camping in the woods scenes it was too long.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, just
and then
dragged a little bit.
It was like watching a reality TV show, that entire movie. It was just the drama between
it was like
all
Big
of them.
Brother in the woods.
Yeah. It really was.
Yeah. No, I hear you there. That it did slow to a almost fatal crawl there when they go into the woods.
But that was kind of it. Like, as far as like the actual story itself and what they put in, I really didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
It was just...
I remember liking it when it came out a lot because I was really excited, but sometimes it airs on TV and I catch snippets of part 1 of Deathly Hallows, and yeah, I'm a little like nonplussed by it. I'm just kind of like, this is just not grabbing me. I don't know why.
If you know the story, you skip over it.
You just skip over it. Yeah.
You don't need it.
Yeah. I mean, in the book, we can talk more about Deathly Hallows, one of the most epic of the series book-wise, obviously.
My favorite.
Obviously, yeah. Obviously an incredible ending to that story.
Yeah.
But Yeah, we can talk more even about part 1, part 2 movies. It's tough,
So
right?
I liked part 2 less than I liked part 1.
All right, so let's have you go now. So what you yeah, so part 2 is so you prefer part 1.
I prefer part
All right,
1
so,
to part 2.
So go on.
I hate the final battle between Harry and Voldemort.
Is that because it's not set in the Great Hall like it is in the
Yep.
books? That is completely reasonable take.
There's none of this circling each other tension, Harry talking to him.
Yeah, browbeating him
like,
big time.
Explaining like, you're still not getting it. You still don't get it. After all this time, you still don't get it. Try for some remorse. Like, none of that is in there. None of that.
You only get a little bit where he's on the terrace like, come on, Tom, let's finish this together. And it's
Which
like,
I hate. I thought that was so stupid. Come on, Tom. And
then what about
like fly all
they all
over the
fly
castle?
and then they all start melding into each other and like all this weird shit is happening.
And then when he does finally die, he like Thanos
disappeared. Yeah.
Like
He
the
gets
whole
really dry skin and starts cracking.
he flakes away.
Yeah, he flakes away.
And the whole point is that like
what a snowflake that Voldemort was. No, I'm just kidding.
The whole point was that he was dead and there's his body. And
he's dead.
He's
like we
dead.
have look, he's dead.
Yeah,
he's
there
done.
it is. And it's like hidden away in the corner and no one wants to
Yeah.
Maybe they were hoping they'd get Rowling's permission to write a sequel where he comes back and then he has to fight Harry's children or something.
I'd rather die than have
Harry
that
Potter
happen.
straight to DVD.
No more
Coming this
sequels.
No.
Leave it alone.
It just the forest again is my favorite chapter.
Yep.
And it's very difficult to convey that in the film.
Yeah, the emotion, the raw emotion in that chapter.
I wanted to feel something, but I didn't feel anything. Like even when he sees his family again with the stone, like I don't feel anything. And you want to at least be able to convey something.
Yeah.
And there's just like nothing there. I feel nothing there.
I think there's a brief moment in part 2 when Harry comes out of the pensieve. And you can tell in that scene, and maybe we'll get to this, but Daniel Radcliffe, I think, recognized the gravity of the moment and did his best. And we've talked about this before. The actors have done their best with what they were given.
I don't blame.
I think
Daniel
he tried
Radcliffe,
really hard and did a great job, but still, but like you
film,
blame the screenwriters, blame the directors,
except Emma Watson. I'm convinced. I don't even blame her, but I don't remember if I had this conversation with you. I've had.
You
this
guys are both
conversation with
Watson haters, and I don't understand.
I don't.
She
I don't
sucks.
hate Emma Watson, but her acting got really bad at the end.
She got worse and worse and worse and worse.
I'm convinced
she
was a child. Parents got her into acting after like the first or second movie.
Yeah.
She just decided she didn't want to act. She just didn't seem like she wanted to be there.
Okay, I'll give you that.
She's not Hermione at all.
I don't think
she just didn't put in the time to research the character. She was just like, all right, I'll come be Hermione. You're going to pay me a couple million. Why not?
Well, I don't think she's even in the profession. What is she?
She doesn't act.
Yeah, I think the last thing she was in was the Little Women movie they made. That was what, 3 or 4 years ago? Yeah, I don't know.
Beauty and the Beast.
She made Little Women after
I think
Beauty and
Little
the Beast.
Women came out after that.
Okay.
But again, that was like 4 years ago. So I don't know.
She like
maybe
is
her
like
heart
nails...
wasn't in it. That's a good point, Evan. Maybe her heart really wasn't in it. I don't know.
She's like nails on a chalkboard for me.
Yeah.
But as she grew up, she got pretty. So we're gonna make Hermione pretty and perfect and smart and give all of Ron's good material to Hermione because the screenwriter's favorite character was Hermione, and she doesn't come across as Hermione anymore. She comes across as this perfect, beautiful girl. And Ron comes across as an absolute moron.
The same screenwriters that zoomed in on Bobaton Booty.
And their romance, therefore, doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
And she's like, Hermione's not flawed at all in the films.
They did.
Like, she has no flaws. Except in, like, the first film.
We do have to talk about that over, like, all the films. Ron got done dirty.
Ron got done so dirty.
Like, he had nothing by the end. He just kind of stood behind looking sad most of the time.
Yeah, he had nothing to do. They didn't give him shit. And he's Harry's best friend. He's Harry's best friend.
And he
Yeah,
had
his
some
anchor.
of the best
Yeah.
lines, some of the funniest
Yeah.
lines, too.
And sometimes
anything.
he sees through shit and figures it out before Hermione
And
does.
he's also brave. Yeah, he's smart.
very
He's brave.
brave.
He's
so
underrated,
loyal.
honestly. People are sleeping on how good Ron is. Yeah.
He's so loyal to Harry,
Yeah.
which is what Harry needs. He needs someone who is ride or die for Harry. And it's
Right.
from book 1 where he's like, "I'll be
When
your
they meet
second."
on the train. Yeah. Oh,
And
yes.
when they go to do
I'll
the
be your
duel,
second.
he's like, "I'll be your second,"
Man, yeah,
you know?
totally. But yeah. Anything else?
Fourth.
I quit watching the movies after seeing the 4th, but I've read the series 7 times. Interesting how they seem to have pushed the films towards
non-fans.
They really did.
It's tough to make an adaptation, though, right? Because it's more about a consumer business than it is an artistic endeavor.
I
Unfortunately,
know, but you know, if
no, I
if you've
hate.
got-
I wish it was all about the artistic, but
if you've got
just
millions and
seemed-
millions of people who have read these books,
yeah. But it's like pure capitalization.
You-
That's what it's just
you
like.
don't think that your audience is smart enough to like
Yeah.
hone in on the mystery. Also, the whole point of the Barty Crouch mystery is that you don't figure it out, and then when
Until the end,
when, and then when it's
so
there,
mind
it's
blowing.
like
It's so mind blowing.
when the pieces all line
Fit
up
together.
together, you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
And
if you want to make a movie and a story your own way, go do that. Don't take what is already established and then try to make it your own. Because it seems like that's what they did. Like, as they got in, they're just like,
yeah.
this is my movie. I'm doing it the way I want.
And it's interesting that it seems like our least favorite films are the later in the series because yeah, they were more interpretive to a detrimental way, right? Like the earlier movies, which I noticed we haven't,
We're more faithful.
which I noticed we haven't mentioned a couple yet. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how this is all gonna end up here. This is interesting.
yeah, Hallows
So
Hallows
yeah.
Part 2, like those are just the big things for me. I just
Mhm. The duel. You
the
didn't like
duel
the duel.
really pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
I was underwhelmed. The conversation Harry has with Dumbledore at King's Cross,
King's Cross.
it was not enough there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Everything was not explained properly.
Okay.
Just
I mean, on the page, that chapter is amazing. So
It's so good.
hard to, yeah.
the Prince's Tale was just like, even
I
the
think that
Prince's
was all right.
Tale, I was just like, eh.
I will stick up for the Prince's Tale as
Oh.
they did it in the movie. I think that was as good as they could have done that.
I just
Flickers of scenes and
yeah, it's how you would film it. It's how you would film
I
it.
couldn't think of how you'd do it better, I guess. But obviously, again, like you said,
I
it
just-
all
by that
all
point-
pales to what's on the page.
I was
That's
just
the thing.
underwhelmed by the entire.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
That's fair.
Anything else on part 1, Evan? I know that you're right. It's in the middle for you.
Where does
No,
part 1
no,
end?
I think that's
Part 1
about it.
ends with
end with Dobby?
Dobby dying
Yeah, that's what I
and
thought.
Voldemort finding the Elder Wand.
Yeah.
Which again, that's another thing. So
Yeah, that's another thing.
Grindelwald,
They killed off Dobby.
they killed off. Well, yeah, we can.
They made me feel feelings.
They
I
made
don't
me.
like
They
it.
made me feel. Yeah, yeah. Isn't there a difference though? I was reading up on this. In the books, Grindelwald doesn't tell Voldemort where the Elder Wand is,
Correct.
but in the movies he does. So in the books, Grindelwald
doesn't
is
give him
almost
up.
loyal to Dumbledore,
Yeah, he
whereas
does.
in the movies he's like fuck Dumbledore.
So in there's an overarching theme that I think exists in Deathly Hallows, the book.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And the theme is redemption. Every single
There
character
you go.
in the entire book
Yeah.
has a chance at redemption.
Yep.
And makes some kind of gesture of redemption.
Yep.
Wormtail with his hesitation that ends up killing him. It's a small
That's
act,
a great point.
but he hesitates, and in that hesitation,
That's amazing.
that's a little redeeming moment. Grindelwald refusing to give up Dumbledore is a little redeeming.
Yes, totally. Absolutely. I love that. I love that in the book.
Draco was
Oh.
the whole thing with Draco.
I have a
Draco
whole thing
Van-
on Draco.
That's, and Melanie probably will agree with me. The whole thing with Draco, where he pretty much denies Harry. He denies that it's Harry multiple times. It's very
Yeah.
much like, it's kind of like a weird Peter denying Jesus
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And
Go on.
Lucius says, "Are you sure it's not him? Are you sure it's not him?" And Draco's like, "I can't tell. I can't tell.
Right.
I can't tell." He denies him.
Yeah.
And that's Draco's like moment that starts towards redemption.
Tilting towards, yeah.
Yeah. So you have all these characters that do
That's
all
interesting.
these things.
Yeah.
And the only characters who do not demonstrate that are Bellatrix and Voldemort. Everyone else, like even Narcissa, she betrays Voldemort for love of her son. You know, like
I have a whole thing with Draco, which I'm sure you guys have
That's a
talked about
separate
Draco
discussion.
ad nauseum, but Draco to me is the tragic hero of the entire story. And I know we've talked about this before.
I feel like redemption and mother's love are like the big hardcore homecoming themes.
And just to quickly go
of
back
the last book.
Just to
They're
quickly
really major.
For me, just to quickly go back to Half-Blood Prince just for a moment. And this is just me talking about how Rowling is basically a genius for this, but making Draco the fulcrum of how Harry becomes the master of the Elder Wand. Draco is the in-between. Harry has to disarm Draco to become the master, right?
Yeah.
But that just shows to how crucial. It's like Gollum in Lord of the Rings. You know, they couldn't have destroyed the ring without Gollum.
Right.
They couldn't have killed Voldemort without Draco.
Right.
It's like Draco is actually a key part, and to me, he's a tragic figure in the sense that he was born in a prejudiced, bigoted family, grew up with those characteristics, but probably had doubts, you know, probably had second thoughts, but couldn't escape the shadow of his family until, like you said, when he's like, "Oh, I don't know who that is." Everything you said, I think about this sometimes.
It's plain in Half-Blood Prince
in
the book.
Oh, yeah,
You can tell that throughout the entire book, Draco is having, like, the worst time.
The worst
Very
time.
bad. He's
having a bad time.
It culminates with Dumbledore telling him, like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to be a murderer.
I know.
I know. Yeah.
So anyway, that's probably all I have to say about
Hallows
Draco.
Part 2. Oh, we've got conversation.
All right. So...
Oh, thank you, Melanie. Also, I think by that time, the Malfoys in general are fed up with Voldemort.
Yeah.
Did you know in the scene
Lucius
why is it
definitely was.
Harry does not have a scar.
Why is it always you three? Harry does not have a scar.
Maybe like an editing mistake or something.
Really? Sure,
yeah,
it's
definitely an editing
Voldy
mistake.
was a terrible houseguest.
She likes the
thank you,
Draco.
Melanie. That's something I've thought about a lot. To me, it's a pretty decent parallel. I mean, I love just to go on Lord of the Rings for a second. The reason that they're able to destroy the ring is because of Gollum, and the reason is Samwise's mercy that he shows towards Gollum.
Yeah.
He could have killed Gollum right there.
Oh, yeah.
If he did that, Frodo would have been corrupted and everyone would be fucked.
Yep.
So, but the fact that Sam showed mercy to Gollum is what allowed them to win. How crazy is that?
Which is why Sam is the hero of the story.
Yeah, but it also makes Gollum a key component there.
He's a necessity.
And so for me, it's not exactly the same, but I do see with Draco a very key
like the
similarity.
Pin type of
So to me, it's a decent parallel at least. So
I see
I'm glad that you guys agree. Yeah, I've thought about that before.
So
Ron
we don't
would
talk
be
about
Samwise, and Harry would be Frodo.
Well, of course, Harry's definitely Frodo.
Well,
yeah.
We also don't get any wand lore anything in part 2.
We get a little bit. Only
not enough.
Not
though.
enough.
You don't get enough to get the explanation that
we just get a little bit with the great John Hurt playing Ollivander. Let's just give it up for John Hurt for a second. Yeah,
loved him. He was one of my favorites.
But we get a little bit, but again, not enough. Not enough to be satisfying. Yeah. Although there is that great scene where he's like, yes, he's feeling the wands and he knows exactly what they're made of and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, damn, Ollivander, you're a genius, man.
Noel, you could write a paper about Draco and Gollum, maybe.
It's an interesting proposition. Yeah. I've thought about this for a while. Maybe I'll give it a shot, Melanie. I'll give it a try.
Still plugging away at the cave.
Well, maybe if I could get off my ass and do this, that'd be cool. If I were to, first of all, you should definitely go to this conference.
I mean,
you have to.
Gotta get the abstract.
But if I were to go, I think that's what I would write about. That's kind of my big contribution.
There you go.
Write it up. There's still time.
There's still time. All right then.
Now I'm thinking about like the contrast between Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
We need to finish. This.
Oh god.
Like the locket.
I'm gonna refill my cup.
Like the ring does.
It's very much. Yeah.
The
Horcruxes in
Sam
general.
is like,
Well,
I
and
can't carry the ring, but I can carry you.
Yeah.
Right? And then Ron has to drag Harry out of the lake with
Right.
the sword.
which is very Arthurian legend.
Yeah.
And it's very Arthur pulling the sword out of the lake, where the Weasleys have been demonstrated to be Arthur. Yeah.
Even Arthur Weasley.
Yeah, Arthur Weasley. They're all named after characters from Arthurian legend. Like all the boys are.
That's dope. And also Ginny's kind of close to, what is it, Guinevere? Yeah,
Guinevere a little, yeah.
All right. Are we going on to our next one?
Let's
then?
go on to the next. So now,
let's go for it.
So where are we now? So now we've done four. So
fifth
now
movie.
So this is our now fourth favorite.
We're like in the neutral territory.
We're in the neutral
this
territory.
Is a movie that you're just kind of like, eh.
Well, I mean, I think we're trending towards what we like rather than what we don't like.
Okay.
I
I mean,
but still,
I'm still in that.
Right, you're still in that neutral though. Okay.
I'm
going towards what I like.
I'm still
now.
in
I'm
that,
starting to like these films.
I don't
Okay.
like.
All right.
Still on the I don't like train.
All right. So should we do another countdown?
Sure.
All right.
3.
Ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Deathly
Prisoner of
Hallows 1.
Part 2.
Or no, 2. I meant 2.
What did you say?
I said part 2. Deathly Hallows.
said part
because I
two?
said part 1 last time.
You did say part
Deathly
1.
Hallows is my neutral movie.
I also said part 2 here for Deathly Hallows, and you say Prisoner. Interesting.
Prisoner of Azkaban. Yep.
So let's. I guess I'll speak on Hallows Part 2 for a bit if I can. Love the Dragon Gringotts scene when they break. That is. Wait, was that was
That's
that was
part 2.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
part 2.
Oh god,
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
oh
part
my
2.
god, I'm looking like
I
a
was gonna
fool.
say, that was like the first thing they did, I think, was go down to.
But it's so cool. I love that. It's just like Hermione taking Polyjuice to look like Bellatrix, and we get this great scene where Helena Bonham Carter is acting like Emma
Hermione.
Watson.
Yeah.
It's just like, what? And then we get this
She was
awesome.
brilliant in that.
Oh yeah, I know. And
One of her best bits.
yeah,
Old choice, Melanie.
But-
I really can say I vehemently disagree with that in the fiber of my being.
I also think that a really underrated performance is Warwick Davis as Grip Hook. I think he killed it as he conveyed such an ancient history of goblins in just that one performance, and him like lusting after Godric's Gryffindor sword. It just spoke to like a greater history that I wish I knew more about, you know?
No,
Like
I
just
agree.
in
I
that
think it was really good.
Fair.
performance. So I think it's great job, Warwick Davis. We all know you're a legend, but
Good job with
good
this
job with this one. Yeah.
one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I mean, it was like part 1 really sets everything up, and then everything happens in part 2.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's the payoff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they stuck to the book material pretty well in these. And
Sure.
pretty well.
Well,
Right.
okay. All right.
But okay, like the one thing you said, you didn't like the final battle.
Hated it.
Mhm.
Didn't not like it. Hated it.
I don't.
You're such a hater. No, I'm just joking.
I don't
When
think
it comes to this,
was,
yes, I am.
I think they could have made some better choices as far as like the final battle. Like, I think they should have like maybe ended with the circling, but it's a movie. You can't just have your final battle be just this 3-minute thing where they're just like, you still don't get it, and then boom, he's dead. All right, the end.
Why
Like,
not?
Because you gotta have.
Because it's a different
build
medium.
up for
It's
how
a
many
different
years.
Westerns do that all the time.
Yeah, this isn't a
This
western,
isn't a
isn't it? It's in a western.
But they do it.
They do, but still, like you have this whole fantasy world. Why not end it with an epic battle?
Well, also Neville.
I don't know. The Return of the Jedi didn't do that with Darth Vader and Luke. There wasn't bullshit happening everywhere all the time. It was a one-on-one confrontation of wills.
I'm just
Well,
saying,
and a little bit of Force lightning on the side.
I'm just saying, I didn't hate their choice. Like
I didn't
Wow.
hate it either. No, I'm gonna stick with you here, Evan. I did at the end of the day, the whole swirling and faces melding together. I could have done without that.
That's
but
why some of the things were weird.
yeah. But the final battle, it was acceptable to me.
Yeah.
I found it to be an acceptable final duel, even if they weren't in the Great Hall. Blah blah blah.
They missed the whole point of the final confrontation.
Oh wait, sorry. Let me just say something real quick. Deathly Hallows Part 2, the scene where Neville like rises from his stupor, like and he's just like, oh, you know, and he gets the sword of Gryffindor, but he's been like knocked out. This kid is like unconscious, and yet he comes to, he gets the sword, boom, he beheads Nagini. How badass!
This is Neville fucking
He's Neville Longbottom. He is a badass individual.
Right? Full circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Neville who got
I love it. I just love that.
Petrificus Totalis
Yep.
in the first movie.
Turns out to kill Nagini. Good job, Neville. We were all rooting for you from the beginning.
Oh man, I feel bad for anyone who picked on him.
But there was
Me
no
too.
like whole thing
Snape's
about
lucky
how
he's
his
dead.
Voldemort's magic wasn't working on them anymore because Harry protected the none of that.
There's a great scene though.
Where like
Look,
Voldemort
just
like
let Neville have the win, all right?
yeah, but
He
Vol-
did it
this all
all
happens to
himself.
build up to Neville.
Neville
Like,
earned his W here.
yeah, but Voldemort silences them all, and then they all break out from the spell and they start screaming at him. And
All right,
he
that is
silences
cool.
them
That was
again.
cool. That was
And
cool. But they keep breaking through.
yeah, and
that was cool. Actually.
let's not put that in the movie. And then that builds and builds and builds, and then Neville just like, "Brr."
Yeah. All right. I see what you're saying.
I see what you're saying. It's just it didn't bother me that much.
Yeah, me neither.
fucking bothered me, man.
But to me, like part 2 is
Lack of build up.
Also, part 2
Sorry.
is another example in the series where they did like that dark, grungy look well. I could
Yes.
see everything that was going on. It was dark. I got it. It was moody.
So like Bathilda,
not a last
Backshot worked better for you,
Yeah.
like that dark creepiness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I could see what was happening.
CGI was kind of rough.
Yeah, but this was what, like 2005?
I wanted more body horror. I wanted it to be disgusting, and it wasn't disgusting.
Look, this is Harry Potter, not Freddy vs. Jason.
It's disgusting in the book.
Well, yeah.
She like comes out of her mouth and her corpse just like collapses. Like
That was metal as fuck in the book.
it's creepy and
Yeah.
gross, and in the movie it was like uncanny valley almost a little bit.
Yeah, it was.
So we've
You
talked
could have
about
gone with a mixture of CGI and practical effects to really make it nasty and disgusting and horrible, and it was not.
Also, let's talk briefly about Harry snapping the Elder Wand at the end. What did we all think
Oh
of that?
my god, no, hated it.
Oh,
And he
no.
throws it over the cliff where maybe that dragon's body might not be that horn. That
Oh,
Hungarian
the
horntail.
Hungarian Horntail.
Maybe
And
there's a dead
once
dragon down
again,
there.
let's not give creatures some screen time.
Oh my god.
Oh, don't.
Master Regulus.
That
And
was
then they
so
all
cool.
charge in.
Oh my
That would have
God.
been so good.
That would have been so good. Wow.
Nope.
And he goes and makes Harry a sandwich at the end. But
He
no.
does. He does. Harry's like,
What a nice guy.
he's like, I'm gonna have creature make me a sandwich, and then I'm gonna take a nap. Like that's how the book ends.
Love it. Hi,
Doda.
But yeah, anything else on?
That's kind of it. I mean, I like part 2. I have nothing really bad to say about it, except that for me, 3 of the movies in the series were better. So we're
Yeah,
good.
pretty
Great
much.
to see.
I feel like there was a lot of bad, but there was a lot of good. It kind
Exactly.
of balances itself out for
That's
me.
where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I hated the wand snapping thing. I thought it was dumb.
Yeah.
All right.
I remember sort of flinching in the theater, like, no, that's not what happened.
Yeah,
You know? But I mean, I don't know.
Felt that way about every movie since the third movie. I've been like, didn't happen that way. That's not even in the book.
yeah.
What the fuck is happening right
My
now?
eye is twitching, and I can't make it stop. Oh, no. Okay, save the egg.
Why that way?
Why does she have? I know she never climbs through there. What the heck? Anyways,
What a choice.
So we haven't talked yet about your ranking of Prisoner. You have it ranked
Okay.
4th,
This would be 5th, right?
5th worst / 4th best.
Yes.
Yes, I'm
So-
good at math. Not
First
really.
and foremost, I will say the physical filmmaking of Azkaban is probably the best in the series.
Okay,
It's the most well filmed.
you're saying it's
movie.
the most cinematically designed
Yeah.
experience. Okay.
Um,
I'll agree with that.
that scene where the camera just follows everyone through the leaky cauldron.
That is a brilliant use of
it's one
of camera work.
shot.
Yeah,
that's genius.
Yeah.
The Shrieking Shack scene where everything is like tilted and off center, and how I think they like tilted the camera, but then they also had the floor slanted and moving. Like it was very complicated how they filmed that.
Yeah.
And I could appreciate that. I was like, there's some really brilliant things happening in
well
this
done
movie.
Yeah, like using the camera as your paintbrush, so to speak. Yeah. Which is what, in cinema, that's what you're supposed to do.
I also liked that the kids still all had their uniforms, but they all wore them differently.
They changed up the uniforms a little bit.
And the director said, wear these uniforms how you would wear your school uniform or how you think the character would wear theirs. So not everyone looked exactly the same.
So maybe not as stiff, a little more...
some had their sleeves rolled up, some had their ties pulled down,
maybe more realistic, perhaps.
Yeah, more realistic, more individuality. So those are the kudos.
Those are your highlights. That's what you give it props for.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear you.
I'm
now bracing myself.
I'm trying to think of more positive things to say. It's hard.
Okay, so what are the negatives?
Okay, Timothy Spall as Wormtail.
Oh, he was great.
Very good. Very good casting.
He's a great actor, that guy. Yeah. Of course, Gary Oldman.
Okay. Hated the werewolf design.
Okay.
Straight up hated the werewolf design. This was the beginning of the end of Hermione being Hermione. She was very pretty and very pink in this movie.
She had that like pink hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was also the start of they wear Muggle clothes all the time.
Why?
There's a huge chunk of this whole culture.
Because robes are expensive.
Yeah, and probably uncomfortable.
I doubt that they're uncomfortable.
They're probably really comfortable.
Yeah, I take it back. I recant my statement.
I mean, Archie says that he likes a nice breeze. I bet you those robes probably have a nice breeze.
I take it back. I'm pro robe.
Right?
So they just look like Muggles. Get
away with wearing a robe to work.
I was just thinking that.
Like what? The ladies can wear dresses. What's the difference?
I was actually looking up, like, do they make skirts for men? Turns out they do.
It's called a kilt.
It's called a kilt. That's how dumb I am. But I really want a kilt now.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm trying to get myself a kilt. Anyone knows where a good kilt is.
If I ever reach the point where I'm trying to get myself fired, or I don't care if I get fired from my job, I'll wear a kilt. Just to see.
I'm not even there. I'm just going to do it and not give a fuck. They can say yes or no. And I will say yes or no back.
You just got to start speaking Scottish. Oh, top of the morning.
Do I have to?
That's Irish. But
yeah,
I don't care.
that was not.
Do I?
Right.
You know what? I'm just gonna. Yeah, if someone knows where I can get a kilt,
you can get one online.
Yeah, I need to get a.
Or you can get one at the Renaissance Festival. They have like stands that sell them.
Do you know there's a Renaissance fair happening at the Norwich Fairgrounds this summer? I want to go. Just because it's a Renaissance fair. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Yes.
I just found this out.
Yes. Renaissance Festival. I haven't been to one in a long time. Okay. What else is terrible about this? Okay. How about this?
Yep.
Who are the Marauders? You're not gonna fucking find out in this movie, because they don't tell you. You don't find anything out about the Marauders.
You find out
at
their names.
all. That's it. There's nothing. You get no information about the Marauders, the backstory, the thing with Snape. Nothing. Harry's whole thing about his dad and like Prongs rode again last night and him thinking that it's his dad casting the patrol. None of that. None of it is absent. And they're a huge part of the story.
I think they're
Yeah, we
just
don't
like,
get the
"Yeah,
backstory,
you read the
right?
book, you
Yeah.
know."
We only get like,
nothing.
oh, they were the four Marauders. They made the Marauders map, but that's kind of all we get. Maybe we get that they were friends. We don't get the deep, deep lore, right?
No,
Yeah.
you don't get the story at
Yeah.
all.
I think Harry should have stunned Stan Shunpike in the Seven Potters scene.
He could say, "What you fall over for?
What you fall over for?
That is brilliant. Yes. Oh, Stan's yeah, gets his just desserts there. I love how
Too bad none of the writers had a sense of humor.
wasn't there a scene in one of the books later where it's like Stan Shunpike is a Death Eater?
Yeah.
And Harry's like, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he tells Fudge, like, you're out of your mind.
You're
He's
out of your
imperious.
goddamn mind if you
He's-
think Stan Shunpike is a Death
I think
Eater."
it's in 5.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, probably, yeah. I
Um,
just love that though. Bringing back Stan Shunpike.
which would track because it would be a book 3-5 parallel too. Put that in there.
I think Melanie says, I think the film does convey the depth of friendship among the Marauders, even without the full backstory. I would agree. I mean, there's only so much you can do with film. That's the thing. There's only so much screen time.
I didn't buy it.
It's a different medium.
And you couldn't do a flashback because you have to do that later with Snape's worst memory.
Right. And again, we've talked CGI. That's expensive. This stuff is pricey.
But we have no reason to understand why Snape. There's like no animosity between Snape and Lupin. There's nothing there to demonstrate why Snape hates these people.
I mean,
Nothing.
I will
I got nothing
concede that
for
they
that.
could have played up the the Peter Pettigrew thing a little more. All we get really in Prisoner movie is when Harry's at the leaky cauldron in his cloak, and he overhears McGonagall like, Peter was a little lump of a boy who ran around with the Marauders, blah blah blah. Obviously, in the book, we get so much more, and that's it's a different. But that's really all we get.
You always get more in the book.
You always get more in the book,
just
though. It's a
easier.
different medium. But I will concede that we don't get maybe enough of, because Peter's betrayal is really just.
It should be.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
It's just like in the book, it was shocking.
Yeah.
So maybe I will maybe say the impact is a bit less. Maybe that's it. I give you that.
Snape does not show up and have that argument. Whatever. He doesn't show up till later.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I do like is that when Lupin does turn into a werewolf, Snape's instinct is to guard the kids.
That was cool. I do remember this.
I like that change. I thought that was true to character. Because I think he would do that.
Yeah. I mean,
even if he would hate it. Also, one of my favorite parts of Prisoner of Azkaban is when Snape finds out that Sirius got away. Because he loses his shit. So, like, Rowling describes him as shrieking, his eyes are bulging, like he's...
Yeah.
Snape loses his fucking mind for a good couple minutes. Like, loses his shit.
Yeah,
just like Dumbledore is just like, he'll be okay.
He'll be fine.
Dumbledore is just like, you'll have to excuse him, Minister. He has just suffered a massive disappointment. Like, Dumbledore is so
just,
great.
You know what? He never gets to let it out like this.
No.
I've tried to get him into aromatherapy. I've tried to get him into a massage.
And
he just can never relax.
And when you go back and you reread that, like Snape's anger and everything else, it's just like, dude, I feel you. I get it, man.
Yeah.
And he just lose. I wish we'd have had that. And
I've tried to get him into therapy, but he just says no all the time.
Dumbledore. This is also the first new Dumbledore movie.
Yes, Michael Gambon taking over for Richard
Harris.
Oh
God, the transition was so jarring, and I hated it. And okay, so when Dumbledore tells Hermione, 3 turns ought to do it, or whatever.
When they're in the medical ward.
Yeah, and then when they come back in the movie, they're like, "We did it," blah blah blah, and Dumbledore's like, "Did what?" Ew.
What? I loved that. That was
It
funny.
was so out of character.
No, that was funny.
No, it was so out of character.
It was funny.
Dumbledore would not.
It was funny.
I didn't like it. I don't think it worked.
It totally worked.
Did not work.
Definitely worked.
No way.
I didn't think it was.
I thought it was
because Dumbledore was the mastermind behind this whole
Yeah.
plan. So of course he would say "did what good night" because he's like, look, that Come on, you're off base here.
No way.
You're off
Not
base.
even close.
You're off
like
It
you're
was
base.
it was a
nitpicking.
cheap shot at a laugh.
You're nitpicking hard.
No way, Dumbledore.
But if
if
it's
anything,
alright.
was a laugh, then
Yeah.
it's not such a cheap
A
shot.
cheap laugh is still a laugh.
Dumbledore as a character would not do that.
Sure he would. He
No.
was making wry jokes all the time.
I didn't like it. I thought it was cheap.
Yes,
And
Melanie,
Dumbledore
I agree.
is the king of
See,
sass.
Yeah.
Smart
So true.
sass. That was dumb.
No, it was funny,
Also, it plays off so much better in the book.
but it was still funny in the movie.
It was.
I didn't like it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Are we ready
I
to say
hated
our
it.
next?
I thought it
You're
was
on the
stupid.
you're on the record.
Are we ready to move on to our next one?
So now we're on our third favorite now.
Yep.
Third favorite of,
Okay.
of
Now we're
all the
moving into
movies
the
now.
top three
Third
best.
favorite.
Okay,
top
top-
three. We're in top three
Okay.
territory now. Are we
Ready?
Yep.
Should I do a countdown?
Yep.
All right.
Why not?
3, 2, 1.
Chamber of
Hallows
Secrets.
Part 1.
Oh!
Thank you.
Heck yeah,
Yes.
we
and
met
what,
up
and what did you
somewhere.
and what did you say, Evan?
Chamber of Secrets.
Okay. Let's go with. I want to hear.
Alright,
I want to
yeah,
hear about
you're-
Chamber. Give me Chamber.
I honestly, there wasn't really anything I found bad about it.
Sure. Sure.
I just thought it was a.
You liked it.
Yeah, it was just a solid movie. Like they followed the book very well.
Mm-hmm. They didn't leave anything out.
They didn't leave anything out, and
Wow.
For the most part. Probably
Yeah,
probably
they
the
didn't.
most probably those early two movies were pretty
Yeah,
close.
they
pretty
they
close.
really
yeah.
it was really accurate.
Yeah, I was just being silly.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah. Honestly, I just put it here because Prisoner of Azkaban and Sorcerer's Stone.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Or
like
further up.
I
For
just
you,
like more,
you
yeah.
just like them more. Yep.
Okay.
But
pretty
Chamber's solid.
Yeah.
I hear that. I hear that.
I really
Any-
don't. I
any
really don't have.
complaints?
I really don't. No.
Okay.
I mean, the basilisk
Like, the
scene, I
only-
love that. That was
Yeah, I did. I
perfect.
thought it
Everything
was
in
good.
everything in the chamber itself was amazing.
Yeah, Lockhart was
Lockhart,
amazing. Like all the
amazing.
characters.
I hear this. Yeah.
like
I
the
hear this,
the
yeah.
only negative was that the other two movies were better. I thought.
See, I love that. That's you just genuinely liked it. It's just this is a sign of a good series when you had no problems, and then other movies were you just liked them more.
Exactly.
That just means that it's a great series, you know? Like, yeah, I hear you. Anything else on Chamber? I mean, anything that
that's
stuck
about
out
it.
for you? I hear you, man.
Okay.
I did
I
like.
agree.
I really like the basilisk design.
Yeah, I
know-
love that.
I know it was supposed to be smaller than what it was.
It's also supposed to be a snake.
It is a snake.
It is.
That's not a snake. That's a monster.
It was a snake.
It was a snake monster.
It looked
It
a lot like a
didn't-
snake.
yeah,
It
but
was
it
a
was a
basilisk.
monster.
I mean, technically, a
It was a
basilisk is
snake.
not supposed to be a snake. It's supposed to have legs.
Really?
It's supposed to have like chicken legs.
What the fuck?
because
Yeah,
it's
they-
born from a chick or
Oh,
a toad
shit.
laying on a chicken.
Sorry.
egg.
There's multiple interpretations.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
I
That's
forgot
fair.
that.
I
That
was
was a
I was
gem.
just being.
I was just picturing a snake with chicken legs, and I was like, that is what I said. That is not what I didn't. Yeah, it's gonna bite you and kill you with its eyes, and it's gonna go cock-a-doodle-doo. No, I'm just kidding. I'm being silly now.
I'm gonna go get a sweater real quick. Sorry.
Okay, no, it's no, but that's cool. Yeah, Chamber's a solid movie. Yeah, for sure.
So why
The Dueling Club, loved that scene in
Yeah.
Chamber. That was great.
anything with Lockhart really?
Anything with Lockhart. Yeah.
Like even the pixies.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just like, oh well, that spell didn't work. Well, you guys will figure it out.
You guys can figure this out. Yeah.
Perhaps it would be prudent
Mhm.
to teach the students to first to block
Unfriendly spells. An excellent suggestion, Professor Snape. I was going to think of it just before you said it. Right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Might I suggest
What's even funnier
Yeah.
is that Kenneth Branagh approached Rowling to see if she could write him into the 7th movie.
Oh
to
really?
put
To be in to
to
be in
put Lock-
Mungos? To St.
Some-
Mungos?
Yeah, something.
I would have loved that.
And she goes, "How very in character."
How very yeah. I'm surprised you remembered to be
Yeah,
to be
right.
quite honest. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. I think I have a bug bite on my ankle.
Ron was amazing with his scaredy cat act. Oh yeah, especially with the spiders.
Yeah, he was good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Follow the spiders. Why can't it be follow the butterflies?
If Hagrid ever gets out of Azkaban, I'll kill
I'll
him.
kill him. Young Rupert Grint. What a good and
Not
old
to
Rupert
mention
Grint. Just
the-
Rupert Grint in general. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Rupert Grint.
He
Not
just
to
didn't get
mention the
much
car.
time.
Like
Yeah.
they did that movie so well because the car itself even had like a personality.
Yeah,
you
that was
know?
great. Yeah.
That,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I
Like
really
chucks him
wish-
out and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
you know they could have made Deathly Hallows Part 2 perfect if they just had that car come back during
That
the
would have been
Battle of
so-
Hogwarts.
Oh my god, dude. I
You gonna
forgot
write
about that.
Rowling a letter about that.
Yes. When they redo that
The
in
true
this
hero
next series,
was the car.
that car needs to just
It needs to come
through
back,
and
yeah, and
run
just
over
plow
bunch of
over a bunch of
spiders.
Death
Yeah.
Eaters.
And
Yeah.
If it helps you feel better, maybe pretend it happened off page.
And then
I
it peels
do.
out and
Yeah.
yeah.
Just slamming spiders left, right, and center.
It's so cool.
I'm just picturing like two Death Eaters like cornering Harry, and he's just like, "We've got you now," and then honk,
Boom.
honk, boom.
So let's talk
Oh.
about part 1. Do you want to talk about
Sure.
part 1? Because
But
that's now
real-
both
yeah.
our third favorite. Yeah.
But real quick, part
Okay.
2, Deathly Hallows Part 2 also could have benefited from just a single shot of Slughorn battling motherfuckers
In his pajamas? Oh my god. That would be great.
after chugging his entire stock
Of
of Felix
Felix.
before going out there.
You know, I just love that. The luck potion. Come on. Why would, if you were a potions master, I would be brewing that every fucking day. I would be imbibing that every day.
You,
All right.
you know the
Didn't they
scene-
say that would make you go crazy? Didn't
Yeah,
they?
it's too much-
Okay.
it's like
never mind.
yeah,
never mind.
You
know how I
You know what? That's a risk I'm willing to take.
You know how I picture Slughorn fighting in that battle? You know the opening scene to Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where
Yeah, we're
Groot
just dancing
dances
around.
and the music? That's Slughorn through the whole battle.
I
Yes.
so see that. That is
Yes.
great. I love that. But I'm just picturing Jim Broadbent.
in like silky emerald green
Yeah, like,
pajamas.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. I feel lucky today.
yes.
Yes.
Anyway,
I'll get free tickets to the Hollyhead Harpies after this.
anytime I want.
Anytime I want. Yeah. Yeah, I send an owl to the letter of the editor every day. The Daily Prophet, he always reads my owl. Right? All right, so.
And Celestina Warbeck always.
Be reckless. Yep. That makes sense. That makes sense.
When Ron called Draco a two-faced bastard in Deathly Hallows.
This is the second time I've said that is badass.
Yeah.
That is badass. But yeah, part
All
1.
right, so part 1.
What did
So
you like
we
about it?
obviously liked it. Okay,
Yeah.
first and foremost, I think is other than Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets, the most faithful to the source material.
It really is.
Of all of the films, it falls just behind those two for being faithful to the source material.
That is such a good point.
And
Yeah.
I think it captured the drudgery of the trekking through the forests.
Absolutely. 100% agree.
And the uncomfortableness of that and the struggle of it.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's a struggle. This is the first time these kids
Yeah.
are out on their own. They
Yeah.
have to hide. They're on the run.
They're on the run. They're
It's-
on the run. They're facing certain death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they run into things like, well, do you know how to cook? I don't know. You know, like that kind
All
of
the stuff that they took for granted, you know?
Yeah.
I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah. I think
And-
they conveyed that well, yes.
I thought that was portrayed pretty well.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed the actors playing Harry, Ron, and Hermione under Polyjuice Potion at
Oh, that
the
was so funny.
Ministry.
Oh, like Runcorn and
Yeah,
oh,
and
that was I
That
loved
was a Hopkirk and
I loved that
Reg.
scene. Yes.
I thought that was really well done.
Especially the Runcorn actor.
Yeah, he was good,
he
right?
did such a good job. I wish I knew who the actor was, but that was so well done. That whole scene. I agree.
I just felt like
The stakes were there, is what you're saying. You felt it, and I agree. I agree. The stakes were so. They weren't just like ethereal in the background. Like they were palpable. You could feel
it.
them. I mean,
You could
even
feel the danger, the
you could
tension,
feel the danger.
being like in the belly of the beast.
and knowing that it's either this or we are all doomed.
Yeah.
It's up to us really to save the world here. And
And-
it's like, but it wasn't just like an abstract thing. It was a real feeling.
And
like,
when they get in there, and then they realize, oh, we thought we knew what we were doing when we got in here.
Right.
We thought we planned this out, but
Right.
holy shit.
but now we're up on the rope. We're against the ropes
Yeah.
now. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's really agree with you about part one, conveying the struggles of the trio on the run. I like nearly everything
I agree,
about.
Melanie. I
That's what I thought that movie was about.
yeah. That's why I think
And I thought that's what it conveyed it well.
so true. I think what you mentioned, Evan, before about the pacing was like when they're in the woods and stuff. To me, and I hear what you're saying, but to me, it lent more to the movie's themes on like, yes, we are struggling, we are in the woods, we are moving slowly because we're fighting an an incredible adversary that we basically have a shred of hope here that we're clinging on to.
Right,
And so the
Ron
pacing
says, "We thought you knew what you were doing."
exactly, and like, oh, Dumbledore, he didn't leave us with anything. He left with us with a book of stories and a lighter, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like he left us with nothing. And so I guess for me, like in terms of critiquing art, the pacing actually matched the movie's theme.
Yeah,
I mean, pacing is
it's
fine,
supposed to
but
be like
if
Form
slow
equals function,
and
right? So
struggly.
yeah, so
yeah.
to me, it just was an adept way to convey that struggle by making it deliberately slow. And we mentioned the Bathilda Bagshot scene. I loved that scene in the movie.
Okay.
So body horror. I thought it was creepy. Actually, it was creepy enough for me. Maybe
Okay, fair
maybe not
enough.
enough in the book, but to me that was creepy. It was weird. They were in Godric's Hollow. It just felt scary. It felt like there was a real danger. It felt like, and this was when Ron had abandoned them, right?
Yeah.
So they
It's
were
Christmas time.
so the trio had been like reduced. It's like the Trinity being shattered, and it's just Harry and Hermione, clinging on for dear life.
In the book, it is described as Harry something and something had broken between
Something had yeah, totally. And then I think we should discuss, and I know it's a controversial scene when Ron is basically tempted by the locket or something like that, and there's, I think we all know where I'm going with this. It's the Harry Hermione love scene vision, which garnered quite a reaction when I saw it in the theater.
To me, it was the Harry and Hermione dancing in the tent.
But
that was just awkward.
I didn't like it.
I liked it. I thought it made sense.
People either like it or they don't like it. I didn't like it.
It felt real to me. It felt like what people would do.
Didn't like. That was the problem with the pacing. The pacing, like you want to represent their struggle and this trek. That's fine, but it loses its magic when I'm falling asleep in the middle of it. Like you drag
as a
it
viewer
on too long.
Yeah.
I felt like it was just pandering to those Harry Hermione people to try to give them a little bit of hope that maybe, and that was it.
I read it as a realistic, these are two people struggling. They're
just having fun for a minute.
They're having fun for a minute. They're in the midst of this horrible, tragic, like we've said, it's them against the world. And again, not from like a romantic point of view, but literally like, if they fail, Voldemort wins, and it's just people finding a moment in those desperate times. Anyway,
I didn't like it.
That's fair.
Luna Lovegood calls Dobby sir, and Dobby instantly falls in love with her.
And then so what I was really more speaking to was when Ron sees
the locket scene.
The locket scene where Ron sees the vision of the evil Harry, and like Hermione was more beautiful and yet more terrible than she'd ever looked before and stuff. And then they're like making out or whatever. And it's
in the book they're supposed to be like naked and embracing each other.
Yeah, almost like a twisted Garden of Eden type shit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And to me, when you're being bold and doing bold choices like that, you get points in my book.
So why did people hate it?
Well, I think they hated it because it reinforced, like you said about the dance scene, the Harry Hermione shippers. And, I think it gave those people ammunition. And, obviously we all want...
I thought it was a representation of what the locket was doing.
No, that's what it was. But I'm saying
people don't like it for that reason.
Yeah, I think people just had the wrong idea. That's all I was saying.
I think people don't like it because they put so much other
stock
BS
exactly.
into it.
Yeah, they read their own headcanon into the whole scene.
But if they had followed like the story from the books, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But they kept trying to make Harry and Hermione happen in the movies,
right?
Or give people hope.
Give people hope.
Maybe it could happen. See, look,
But what I love about the Harry Hermione relationship is that
that they got together in the end, and Rowling was like,
No,
you can't.
right.
That's not what's
But
going
what I love about the Harry Hermione, both in the books and in the movie, it's like, sure, maybe on some level we'd all want whatever we want for the characters, but these are people setting aside stupid bullshit and like, we are trying to save the world here, okay? We're trying to defeat the most evil dark wizard who's ever existed. We have no time for this type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Am I crazy? I don't know.
No, you're right.
Okay.
Well, returning to Godric's Hollow and the graveyard scene had me crying in the books. Yeah.
It's pretty.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It hits me especially when Harry says he wanted to be laying there next to his parents in the graves. I was like, oh. And then when they see the plaque here marks the place where Harry was the boy who lived.
Oh yeah.
And then he sees like all the people who wrote on it, like "Long live Harry
God,
Potter,"
that was I forgot about that.
"We're with you, Harry," and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like that is what gets me when they go to Godric's Hollow. All that stuff.
Trying to think of what else I loved about the. I think the showdown at Malfoy Manor is pretty badass. It's done pretty well.
It was pretty
I
good.
can't-
Yeah.
Again, we've talked about the Draco stuff, but
This
also
movie for me was
Bellatrix.
very,
Go ahead.
like meh. It was good. It was
Liked
alright.
enough. Yeah,
Like,
sure.
it
It
was
worked
okay.
for you. Maybe not too memorable, but the actor who they got to be Xenophilius was
He was
pretty
great.
good.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was
Thought he
great.
did a great job.
They call him Hot Xeno in the community.
What?
Yeah.
Do they really?
Yep.
Okay, that's so great. I
Because they
love
were
that.
like, Xenophilius was low key hot. He's hot Xenophilius.
Hot Xeno. I
Yeah.
love it. Okay. No, he was great though. I love that.
Yeah, I thought he was good too.
And I did like the animation of Hermione's narration of the three brothers. That was a
That was-
really cool interlude. That was
Yeah.
different. It mixed it up a bit, you know.
You know
Really
what would've,
beautifully animated.
You know what would have made the movie better?
What?
Auntie Muriel.
Yeah, that would have.
If they'd put Auntie Muriel in the movie,
That would have been
it
awesome.
would have been so much better.
No, it wouldn't have been.
Sit
though.
down, move over. I'm 97, or however
It
old she
wouldn't
is.
have been better.
It would have.
No, because they probably wouldn't have done it right, and you would have hated it,
Yeah, that's true.
just like so many other characters.
I know that they do like a little stage production with puppets of the three brothers down in Harry Potter World. You can
Oh,
go
that's
on to-
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
That
so
is pretty
cool.
cool.
yeah.
Go down there just to watch that.
Got other stuff to do too while we're down there. Actually, one of the interns said that she went, but the weekend that she went, the train was under construction, so she couldn't like take the train to Hogsmeade.
Oh, I would have been so mad.
Yeah. I would have filed a letter of complaint
Yep.
and sent it by owl.
So are we gonna? I guess kind of reveal
two.
our top two.
All right, second.
Yeah. So this
second
is
list.
now our
two.
second favorite, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Should we do a countdown?
Yeah.
Mhm.
3, 2, 1.
Prisoner.
Sorcerer's Stone.
Secrets.
You said prisoner.
Yep.
You said chamber.
I knew Prisoner was gonna be your favorite.
It.
I know.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
I knew it. But okay, we'll get there in a minute.
You'll get there.
Chamber of
So,
Secrets.
Chamber of Secrets. Wow, second favorite for you.
Yep.
Nice. Nice. All right then. Yeah, you guys both have it pretty highly ranked.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Any thoughts on Chamber? Anything you liked about it that really stuck out for you?
Just charming from beginning.
It
to
was-
end.
it was good.
Loved it.
Yeah.
I get your thing where you're like, it's too long. I
Mhm.
get where you're coming from, but I was just, you put everything in there.
Right. You didn't leave anything out.
You didn't
Yeah,
leave
right.
anything out.
Yeah, so that's points for that. Yeah,
Um,
points for that.
Gilderoy Lockhart, so good, so good.
Yeah.
The Dursleys are great in it.
Yeah.
Like getting that stuff with the Dursleys was good.
Yep.
The things they chose to axe made sense. Like
The opening scene with Dobby
Yeah.
is great.
the Dobby is good, but like choosing to axe like the Valentine's Day stuff, like okay,
Probably for the best.
like you didn't need to put that
Yeah,
in
they
there.
definitely
Like they
made
made
good
smart
choices.
editing choices, I thought.
Hmm.
I thought the guy who played Tom Riddle
Hmm.
was perfect.
Yeah, they did a good job
He
there.
was just like perfectly cast.
Yeah.
And then in Half-Blood Prince, they made him that weird, like, round-faced whatever the
I
heck.
don't even remember.
Like
yeah.
the Tom,
when, like the younger Tom,
Older Riddle, younger,
the
older?
teenage Tom
Teenage
from the
Tom.
Slughorn memory.
Okay. Yeah, he wasn't the
What-
same. He
yeah,
should have
but
been the
wasn't he
same. They should have
younger?
got the same guy.
Why couldn't
No,
it?
because he's younger in that memory.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought.
that's right. He's only actually I can't
No,
remember.
he's, he's got the ring in the memory.
He's still younger though.
He's like 15, 16.
Either
He
way,
killed Myrtle when he was like a prefect. He was like 15. He killed Myrtle.
yeah, and this is before he killed Myrtle.
Yeah, but not that much. He's not
When
like
you're-
12.
When you're a teen, 1 to 2 years, you change a lot. You can be very different.
Yeah, but he's always described as pale, dark-haired, handsome. Like that. Like that's his like thing.
And the other kid was. His cheeks were just a little chubby.
He didn't look Tom Riddle to me.
I thought he did.
Not in the sixth one. The guy they cast to play Tom Riddle in the second one was perfect.
Yeah,
like that guy was perfect.
That's older Tom, and then Half-Blood Prince was younger Tom.
I'm not buying this from you. Not even close.
It was because he goes to Slughorn before he kills.
No,
Myrtle.
I'm not buying. I'm not buying the casting choice. Is what I'm saying.
Oh.
Like no.
It doesn't make a difference to me. I don't know. I thought it was fine. He looked younger than he did in Chamber, which was appropriate. And I mean, he fit the description.
I mean that this first guy that you cast was so good, and then it was just like they just picked a random kid off the street. Hey, do you want to like be in this scene and ask about Horcruxes for 2 seconds?
Why do you hate this kid? What did he do to you? What?
I don't hate this kid. That's not. I'm just saying. I think he was better cast.
Either way, is there anything else you want to say about Chamber of Secrets? Bad, good?
I mean, the Quidditch doesn't look that great.
They got Quidditch looking better in Chamber of Secrets than, I can't even remember what movie it was, but you know which one I'm talking about, with the god-awful green screen. The worst green screen I've ever seen. Yes.
Half-Blood Prince.
The worst green screen I have ever seen in my life.
Was bad.
A high schooler could do better than that.
Yeah, it was
with a
bad.
green blanket.
But yeah, the Quidditch didn't look that great. But that's the complaint I also have about Sorcerer's Stone, is the Quidditch looked terrible.
But those were early on. You have that. Like,
but even the director said he wasn't happy with how the Quidditch looked
Yeah.
in the movie. So, but like whatever.
My favorite Quidditch scene is in the Prisoner movie.
In the rain.
Yeah,
yeah, that was pretty great.
that's pretty sick.
And that was perfect
honestly, it
because
is-
they knew that they couldn't get like the graphics to look right, so they're like, we're just gonna make it all stormy and dark. No one
Perfect.
can tell, just like they did with the first 2 Godzilla movies.
Perfect
Well,
crime.
I mean, that's and it just happens that that's what it's like in the book anyway. That's the chapter. You're
Yeah, I
probably
know.
right. That Quidditch scene is probably the best Quidditch
to me,
in
to
the
me.
films. It looks the best.
And it feels
And
like
the atmosphere is right.
the atmosphere is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like Harry with the goggles, like with the raindrops repelling and stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Um,
not the goggles, the glasses. What am I talking about?
That's really all I have to say
On
about
Chamber?
Chamber, yeah.
Nice.
Like Tom Riddle is the highlight for me, and
Yeah.
Lockhart and Snape is good.
You've got Prisoner number
Boyle,
2.
didn't
Prisoner.
know you could read.
Prisoner probably would have been my number 1. It's
Mhm.
my favorite book.
Mhm.
But I'm realizing I have a thing with pacing, because my problem was the pacing of Prisoner of Azkaban,
Mhm.
along with some of the stuff you said, like the fact the
The werewolf.
werewolf was awful. It was terrible. I
Mhm.
hated
Yeah.
it.
He was naked.
He wasn't even. He wasn't. He was
had
too
mange, for God's
He
sake.
was too man, not enough wolf. Like, I
Yeah.
would have been fine if he just made a big wolf.
That's what he is in the book.
Yeah.
He's just a big wolf.
Either way,
I like the wolf.
so the only reason
I
it's not
knew
my
you were
number
gonna
one
say
is
that.
because
Ew.
it was my favorite book. And then there were so many scenes, especially when they're like in the Shrieking Shack and they find Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a very emotional moment, Sirius and Lupin are seeing each other again, and it just felt like they hit fast forward.
Okay, yeah, it
just-
all
It's
happened
so
way too
fast.
fast.
It is.
It's so
Everything-
fast.
Yeah,
And that happens like in multiple spots throughout the movie. It just feels like there's this part where there should be some tension build up and then things play out.
I mean, all
and
that
it
is
just
fast
seems
in the
like boom,
book
boom, boom,
too,
boom, 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 boom.
but there's still pause where you can take in the information that you're reading. Like all that explanation happens fast in the book, but there are pauses where as the reader you can like digest it. They don't give you time to digest it in the movie.
Yeah.
And they don't give you all the information anyway. So, ooh.
Exactly. It seemed like they said, this is how long the movie's going to be. We can't run over this time. So they just like cut out a bunch of stuff here and there and just.
mm-hmm.
So that's my only complaint, really, is just pacing again.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's fair. That's fair. But for it to rank second for you, I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah.
like I said, if they made it a little bit longer, maybe built up some of that tension more, would have been my number one.
Nice.
The spiders want
Spiders
me to
want me to tap dance.
Oh, because he has the dream.
Yeah.
I also just didn't love David Thewlis as Lupin.
What? How can you say that? How can you say that?
Just didn't love him in the role.
Oh, it makes me sad to hear these words.
Sorry.
Makes me
I was
sad.
underwhelmed.
good.
I was underwhelmed by Lupin in the films. I know.
I mean, he's really only in the third one.
Yeah, he's really not in the other ones. That's fair.
Yeah, we talked about how they glossed over the Lupin talks thing and pretty much everything after in the movies, at least, unfortunately,
just-
which is too bad because their relationship is great.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
and it's very important to Harry's character development and growth. When he has
Yeah.
that fight with him and all that stuff in 7.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
Uh,
Lupin like claps back at him and is
Yeah.
exactly.
They,
He's
they,
like, you think
get
you're
into
too
a
little?
duel almost?
They almost
Yeah.
fight. They almost have like a real fight.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I've got Sorcerer's Stone number 2, and
Okay. Yeah.
uh, well, I mean,
Because it's
if,
not as artfully made as Prisoner.
if I didn't have great love for Prisoner, Sorcerer's Stone would be easily my number 1.
Mhm.
It's just a truly enjoyable movie. Like, even if you had no investment at all in Harry Potter or knew nothing about it and just slapped on the DVD, it's just a fun movie. It's about this kid with the wizard and the schools and the fucking trolls and crazy shit. It's just like,
heartwarming.
it's heartwarming. It's filmed with sympathy and it's just really nice story. It's like the Wizard of Oz. It's really like the Wizard of Oz. Anyone can throw it on and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just for what it is. It's just, you don't have to be too invested in what
And you don't
happens.
even have to keep watching them. Like,
No.
you're just happy with that one. Just all right.
I
That
just
was a
like
good
that
movie.
one, and it's a good movie. Yeah, and you got the 3-headed dog. I love the 3-headed dog.
Fluffy.
That is fluffy. That's so great. I wish Peeves was in the movie, but that's neither here nor there. We don't see Peeves.
Yeah.
That's one of my
Peeves.
peeves.
Yeah. I hear
But
ya.
Sorcerer's Stone, great movie, and we got to give it up to the great Richard Harris for being Dumbledore for those first 2 movies.
He was
What
so
an
perfect.
amazing performance.
He was perfect.
You know what? Just a great job.
Right? Might
Great
not
job.
even be the guy who came after him. I don't even remember who came after him.
Michael
Did
Gambon.
yeah, did a bad
Big-
job. It was just
Big shoes to fill, though. Big shoes to fill.
He
The
just
dude refused to read the books.
Okay, well, that's dumb. And now I hate him.
Yeah, okay. But
He
it was
didn't-
they originally casted Dumbledore perfectly.
He
That's
Yeah.
why
didn't
he
want to
did it
read the
so well.
books
Yeah.
to influence how he played the character.
Okay.
How do you know
That's like
the
saying-
characters?
That's weird. Yeah.
That's like saying I don't need the script. I'll
Yeah.
just talk.
I'm a genius. I just
I
know
don't want
everything.
that script to
Yeah.
influence what I say.
Yeah.
Do you know what character you're supposed to play?
I will just connect in my soul with a character I've never read. Right? Yeah. No, but Richard Harris, amazing job, and Sorcerer's Stone, just a really fun movie. Again, it's just really enjoyable. It's really hard to come up with any faults for that. It's just a great movie. I even like the Quidditch scene in Sorcerer's Stone. It's a little faulty at times, but it conveys the magic of flying around on a broom. The whole Remember All scene.
Yeah.
That's pretty well done, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Do you know about the prank Alan and Michael pulled on Radcliffe?
They planted a fart machine in his sleeping bag in Prisoner of Azkaban. What? I did not know this.
That's pretty great.
Alan Rickman used to mess with the kids all the time. Like, all the time.
That's funny.
I mean, I'm sure it must have been super fun to work with him.
Oh, yeah.
And just, what an honor.
What an
Yeah.
honor. Yeah.
All right, so that
We're on to
leaves
our number one.
All right, number 1.
All right.
I mean, we all
know what it is. But we'll do a countdown
Okay.
anyway.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Sorcerer's
Prisoner.
Stone.
Hey, I can't even be mad. Like I just said, Sorcerer's Stone is just a great movie.
We still agree with like top 3. Well,
pretty
except
close.
Chamber was like 4.
Chamber
or
was a
5.
little lower for me. Yeah, but still, I think we're pretty close, honestly. Just a little deviations here and there.
Deviation, but for the most part, was pretty.
But I will stump for Prisoner for a second here. I'm gonna get on my soapbox and talk about how much I love
warning
this
everyone,
movie.
it's because it's artsy fartsy.
Yeah, which is what you even conceded to. All right,
It still doesn't make it my favorite.
I'm just saying, it's a great movie. This is the movie here.
I
I would rewatch it. That's how much I like it. All right, Prisoner, sick. Gary Oldman, so cool. Time Turner scene, badass as shit. Everything about this movie, love it. Mic drop.
I mean, like I said, I liked it. I think the only reason I didn't is just because it was my favorite book, and they hurt
That's
me. 'cause
fair.
they
It's
didn't
hard
nail it.
for it to match up. Yeah.
I think that's also, for the longest time, Prisoner was my favorite book.
Mhm.
And when Azkaban came out, I don't believe Order of the Phoenix had come out yet, the book.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact timeline. But Prince hadn't come out yet, Hallows hadn't come out yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Azkaban came out, and at the time, like, Azkaban was my favorite book, Sirius and Snape were my favorite characters,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched the movie, and I just remember being so disappointed by it.
Oh, I wasn't disappointed.
I
loved it.
At this point, I appreciate it more than I did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there are things about it that, like, I will concede the mastery of the filmmaking.
That's why I like it. I
Like-
knew you were gonna
but-
say
Like
that, but
the
yeah.
Dementor on the train. That whole scene is just so well done.
It's so well done with the ice on
ice
the window,
and
then
just the Dementor itself.
Even though Dementors don't do that.
but you could still they don't do it. Sure, they still it was
But you
scary.
have to
It was
represent
scary.
that it's cold.
Cold, creepy, clammy. He's sucking
Yeah.
the soul out of you.
Sucking the happiness out of you.
Yeah, and they
scary.
show afterwards, after he comes back to it, like there's no ice on the window or anything. It was all in Harry's head. You're just seeing that because it's from his perspective. That's what he feels like is happening.
I love what Melanie has said here.
What'd she say?
Prisoner is my favorite film because I was wowed by the psychological and spiritual symbolism of Boggart's terror, Dementor's horror, interesting distinction there, Patronus' spiritual protection, and Chocolate, the antidepressant. That's great. That's a great analysis.
I mean, that is
I love that.
that is the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think they conveyed it well in the movie too.
Dementors are also representative of depression as well.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Horror, yes, but depression is.
But I like the difference here between horror and terror. That is really interesting.
Yeah,
That's a really cool.
I would agree with that.
I want you to write a paper on that, Melanie. No, I'm just kidding.
She would.
Okay, please.
She probably would.
But
She's presented to this conference before.
oh, really? Cool.
yeah.
No, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. No, I love Prisoner. Yeah, and I thought David Thewlis was excellent as Lupin. I don't know
was
what
underwhelmed.
he's a terrific actor.
I
mean,
didn't say he wasn't.
No, I know.
It
But
just didn't fit Lupin for me.
and there's those great scenes where Harry is talking with Lupin in different places, and the score just brings you into the moment. You can tell that he sees Lupin as a father figure that he never had it until Sirius comes along. That's one of the great things about Prisoner is that Harry is searching for a father figure, right?
It wasn't.
Yeah.
And Lupin was it for the time, and he thought Sirius was a murderer just like everyone else. But Then he has two fathers. He has the whole family that he didn't know about. You know, it's just so cool. Like you thought he was like a lone kid and stuff.
And it's like this high, this happy moment before Goblet happens, and like all the bad stuff.
All the bad stuff. It's the last like triumphant sort of like the sky isn't falling yet.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Harry kind of is on this upturn.
So what I will
everything is good. Everything's getting better.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything seems to be going well. And as a sucker for time travel, and I will eat up any time travel story. I love the Time Turner. I love how they did it. Little details like the stone being thrown through the window. It comes back. The way that Alfonso Cuarón did that scene.
They showed you the goddamn clock tower that they put in.
I don't care. I don't care.
God, it's like but it's there. It's in it. Like from scene 1, he is visually telling you time.
Yes.
Like throughout the whole movie.
As someone who has actually like researched like quantum physics and time travel type stuff.
Yes.
I didn't like it.
Why?
Because that's not technically how it would work. Because
here we go.
When it comes to like,
this is why he had so much trouble with the Pensy.
Oh yeah, the
when it comes.
Wait, no, why though?
When it comes to physics and stuff, when you have time travel, first off, it would take an infinite amount of energy to push you back in time. But
we're talking about magic.
I know. That's why I'm not even gonna touch on that.
Okay.
The only thing is, so when
it's a fucking magical object, dude.
Magic is your get out of jail free card for anything.
If we overcame the necessary
magic
requirements.
Sorry, okay, go ahead.
If we overcame the necessary energy requirements, it would create a separate timeline. So you couldn't go back and change your life. You would be changing the life of you in
an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
But you would still live into that new timeline.
You would,
right?
But like Harry doing all this stuff wouldn't have saved Sirius.
Okay.
He would have saved Sirius in another timeline, but Sirius is still dead in the original one.
So Sirius would be dead in the original, but because he went back and created a new splinter. So you're talking about like Back to the Future style, where it's like he went back and changed something, and then a new timeline sprouted off, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, kind of.
But so what's the difference, though? If he still lives in the new timeline, what's the difference?
Happens.
But if he abandoned the original timeline, what's the difference if we still lived in the new one?
Because like the loop is happening, this is all happening again and again and again.
But Sirius doesn't die.
Because there's no original for it to go back to?
Exactly.
All right.
Sirius also doesn't die.
I think I need more alcohol to have this.
Harry saves him. Future Harry saves him. You can give me more.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't happen.
I mean, I love time travel, so I would talk about
You're
this.
You're just like, I'm gonna ignore the logic.
I'm all for it.
I was gonna say, it would go on for a long time, but it would have to be an alternate timeline, basically. You think about like Loki.
Yeah.
You remember how in Loki they try to stop like separate timelines from happening?
Yeah, they prune the alternate.
Yeah, because everything has to happen a certain way.
Yeah.
Melanie just said, Harry and Hermione don't really change the past. Their effects were in the first timeline. The causes of those effects were in the second timeline.
Yes. Melanie is 100% right.
That's how I read it.
No.
What happens always happened.
It's like
that is the timeline.
They were always in the past. Yeah. That's the thing. It was always one timeline. They were always in the past.
They're doing
it. Be the same timeline. You can't go from timeline A to timeline A. You go from timeline A to B.
No, you go from A to A.
No, you can't do it.
It's a closed loop.
It's a closed loop.
It's a closed loop.
That's how you get a paradox.
Universe.
Well, the whole thing is a paradox. That's the thing. That's how they saved Buckbeak from dying, is because he never died.
They never died because
he never died.
Saved him. That's the thing. Yeah.
That's
because he never died. He never died.
What you're talking about is grounded in science, right? That's why it's wrong.
I'm just saying.
If it's a closed loop and there's no timeline B, it's always timeline A. That proves that the reality we exist in doesn't exist.
Exactly.
The intention.
Thank you.
Like in in quantum physics, if you have a gun and you put it to your head.
Yeah.
You pull the trigger, nothing happens.
I've done this before.
Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it like 6 times.
Mhm.
Nothing happens.
Yep.
You've created 6 timelines in which you die, where there is a bullet and you die.
Okay.
So everything you do
has a splinter.
creates a new
effect. Yeah.
Like
This
we
is
just had
according
this
to the
conversation,
Everett
there's another
theory of
timeline where
alternate
we did it.
worlds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm obviously being a little facetious here, just for laughs. I hear what you're saying.
Dude,
I
you
am
should've been
more.
here reading this book. Oh my god.
I am more. I tend to, as much as I respect the science aspect, I lean towards more the mystical side of things. I believe that reality is far more of a not what we think it is. I really don't think we have a grasp on what reality is. I don't think that time is what basically I think that we are basically dumb. That's what I think. Well, I am certainly dumb. That's really what I'm saying here.
I think
You should have
Andy
been here.
Weir ruined me because he does science fiction
Yeah.
that is.
Oh, you were singing his praises
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
I love Andy
So
Weir.
when we were actually reading Prisoner of Azkaban for this channel,
Yeah. Oh my god.
after the chat, when he realizes that they go back in time, oh my god, that discussion.
Yeah.
He's asking me all these questions.
But the way Coron did it in the film speaks to there's always timeline A. The way he did it was perfect.
I'm not saying
No, I know. I was just
I'm not saying
I
the
was
film
just going
doesn't
back
have
to the
to-
movie. But yeah, sorry.
Look at like the thing with the stone.
Oh yeah, that was great. So
I also
perfect.
thought it was stupid when Hermione said, "Does my hair really look like that?"
That was really dumb. That was dumb.
was terrible. I hate
That was just a dumb joke. They should have cut
Um,
that. They should have cut that. But yeah.
But like, he filmed it like the right way to convey how the time travel works.
Exactly.
As a mechanism.
Precisely.
The
Precisely.
framework of the story. And also, that's why Rowling destroyed all the time turners in book 5, because she was like, I can't leave this open.
Yeah, that's the thing. Time travel's the ultimate like.
Fuck you.
Yeah, nothing
Get
makes
out of
sense
jail.
because it's the ultimate get out of jail narrative card that you
Oh.
can play,
And then,
which is that's
when we read Snape's worst memory.
yeah. Nah.
Oh my god, this guy. It's like, how does this work? How are we following them? How is Harry able to walk away from Snape?
I actually came up with a good theory of how it could actually work.
He did.
But,
It took him a while, but we're literally.
we'll
sitting
talk
there.
about it after. We talk
Okay.
about books.
Okay.
He's just like, how could Harry walk away from Snape? And let's go over and look at James's paper when it's Snape's memory. Snape wouldn't have seen the paper, and I'm like, Snape didn't have to see the paper. Oh my god, it was just.
Yeah,
oh my
wow.
God.
I could tell. Just the slightest
Like, I
thing
still-
could send it off the edge. Maybe.
Because he would just be like, wait, why?
Well,
What?
because
And I had to
it's-
explain
Matt-
it.
because
it's
magic.
His memory. How does he?
Oh my god,
know
Katie
what-
and I said this till we were blue in the face. Because
Let's not kick this off again. Let's
traces.
not kick this
Oh my
off again.
God.
Someone said now this whole stream is about magic versus logic. LOL. Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so you did your favorite movie? No, we didn't talk about
Yeah, we
Sorcerer.
didn't
Yeah,
talk
I went
about-
off on
that's why I
Prisoner
was
for a while,
saying
so now
I'll
you guys
talk
go.
about The,
You guys
the
go.
science later.
It's the best adapted.
Mhm.
It follows the story the closest.
Mhm.
Follows the characters the closest.
Mhm.
Also, like, the atmosphere, the music, the everything is just so spot on for what that story is.
Yeah, totally. The tone is perfect.
The tone is great.
Yeah.
You feel the warm familiarity of like Christmas and the feast and
Yeah.
the magic of it.
Mhm.
Feels very
And also, like the Dursley scenes, even the beginning, have that they just set that whole grimy shit going on, and then
they
only
did
to
it well.
uplift you later with the whole Hogwarts thing and the beautiful score, obviously the amazing theme by John Williams.
Yeah,
like-
Hedwig's theme.
Yes, I know, just incredible, incredible. And beautifully shot again with the castle.
I mean, that's pretty much what I had to say about it too. It was just it was a solid movie. They did everything
movie.
perfectly. It wasn't like the most in-depth movie. It wasn't the most exciting.
I mean,
But it's a
a
nice
shortest
watch.
book. It's the
They-
most transparent book.
Yeah, and
but-
they just did it really well. They did everything well.
And like
Yeah,
they
totally.
planted the seeds of like the mother's magic and,
Mhm.
and things were explained. And,
Yeah.
Mhm.
although Harry does commit murder in this one.
Go on.
He kills Quirrell.
Let's all pour one out for Quirrell here.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he kills
Yeah, he
Quirrell.
does.
Like
That's
that's
such a good point.
violent. Like,
Damn.
he doesn't do that in
Like,
the book.
oh, I
That
can
is so
burn
true.
you?
I never thought of that.
Burn.
Wow.
Yeah, like he
I can burn
realizes.
you. Yeah.
He realizes, and then he's just like, "Your face." Like,
I mean, self-defense, but still, murderer.
That's what Melanie just said. She goes, "Self-defense."
Haha, yeah, totally.
But
still, murderer.
murder.
Wow.
Favorite scene is the Mirror of Erised. Yeah, I think that's one of the best moments in the movie.
I like that one. That's a
It
good
was
one.
really, really well done.
Yeah.
It's
And
one
it's
of
just
the
a
best
great
moments
scene anyway.
in the book.
Yeah.
I know Katie said it's her favorite chapter.
Do we know what happens to the mirror afterwards? In the books, I mean? I forgot. Did it get
All
skipped away
Dumbledore
somewhere?
says is that it's going far away,
Okay, interesting.
and it's best not to think about it.
It's
anymore.
okay.
Maybe
alright.
it was in the.
Like Dumbledore literally says that it's best. Just,
It's best
don't
just-
sway, just
Yep, yep.
Put
In
it
fact,
down.
was it
Maybe
ever
he
there?
put it in the room of requirements and it just burned up.
Yeah, yeah. That's just a catch-all. Just throw it in the room of requirement.
The room
Yeah.
of lost things.
Right.
Or the bathroom. If you're Dumbledore.
Or the
The
bathroom.
nice chamber pots.
Yep. Where he can look at his socks all day.
Jackson breaking
Jackson.
Yeah,
Yep.
Jackson was opening the door. Yep. Also from the first book, because Harry killed Quirrell and watched him die, he should have seen the Thestrals.
Good point.
Yep.
Great point.
in. All right, let's talk about errors in the writing here.
It's not an error. It is not an error. It's not a plot hole.
Rowling even said
Also,
in
like,
it-
wasn't Harry alive when his parents died?
Yeah, but he doesn't have the memory
Okay,
of watching
just
him die.
just checking, just checking.
But when the Dementor attacks him, he can hear his mother screaming and all this.
She's not dead.
So
He didn't witness
All
her
right.
death
but he
and
must
process
have
it.
remembered. So the memory's there.
Don't you think there's
Remember
some,
who you are.
Don't you think that there's some magic at play with that?
I don't know.
Oh,
probably.
really? I would hazard a guess that magic is probably a big factor here.
I'm just kind of being an a-hole here.
You
honestly.
are.
That's okay.
You're
I
totally
don't-
doing that thing where
the
the
Thestral
Harry
thing-
saw his parents die as a baby, so he should see the Thestrals.
The
That's the stupidest shit I've ever
The
heard. about.
Thestral thing where he can see it at the end of book 4, I think Rowling just messed up there and then just, was like, oh, well,
I
he
mean,
needed time
I think
to
we can cut her
process
some
it.
slack. Like,
I think it worked.
yeah, it works fine.
He
Yeah.
has to process the death. He's traumatized by it. I think it works.
think
It's
in an
different when he
interview-
witnesses Cedric's death because he's like in the moment. Like that's
Mhm.
real
think
death.
in
And then when he comes back,
interview-
he can process. He can see it.
Right.
In an interview, she says that
Oh my
she
god!
wanted
Tell me again about the interview.
she wanted to introduce the Thestrals
Oh.
before just throwing them in the story.
Interesting.
So that's why she came up with you need to
See death. or
process
whatever.
it.
Okay. A little bit of a
She
retcon
didn't
there, I
wanna-
guess.
Yeah, she didn't
okay.
want to
Well,
throw
I'm
it
okay
in
with
at the end.
retcons. Honestly, retcons are
works.
underrated.
Depends on the retcon.
It does depend on the retcon.
I wouldn't even consider it a retcon. I feel like it's a good explanation for why they're in there later.
That makes
It
sense.
works for me.
Still, it means that she
Oh
kind
my
of
God.
messed up.
I don't see it that way.
Either way, there it is. So
So we had our list. I think this was a really cool exercise. Actually, I mean, this was
Yeah.
really fun.
well, we all know that our bottom 3 books are all the same. Not books.
Movies, yeah, we all hate 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Those all suck.
They're garbage.
We'll have to do this again another time.
And again, I feel bad saying that a work of art that people spent a lot of time on sucks. I feel bad saying it.
I don't.
Okay, I'll just defer to you then.
Okay. It's garbage. It's fine.
It's like I'm trying to
I-
enter, but I'm
I'm
trying to
allowed
enter. All right, but I'm trying to enter this world where I want people to like my art. So don't say mean things about it.
I'm not saying mean things about your art. I'm saying mean things about other people. Opinion.
I know, but then people will hate mine.
Very thorough and deep discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
feel like I yelled a lot.
I feel like I yelled a lot too.
I feel like
Actually.
I complained, but every time we talk about these movies, I complain.
Well, I've been after a lot of
Although,
these cups of liquid, I've
you
been
also
getting
have
louder.
not seen me complain until you've seen me watch Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, you told me you finally watched them, and I was
I
like,
only watched one.
oh
I
shit,
haven't watched the second one yet.
oh god. I actually want to be in the room. Can I be in the room, please?
You can
I
be
want to
in the
hear
room.
you gripe pretty hard because that one is bad.
We can put it on.
That
when we're
one
done
is
streaming.
bad.
If you really want to.
Said here that number 4 is at the bottom. Oh,
Not the book. The
Not
movie.
The movie. I had it second worst. What did you had it as? What was yours?
Second worst.
Second worst and
third worst.
okay, so we had it pretty low.
But the movie, not the book.
And again, my favorite part of Goblet of Fire movie is the graveyard scene. They nailed that.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It was the
pretty
best,
much.
It
they
was
nailed
the
it.
best part of
Yeah.
But
it.
one scene can't save a whole movie.
Exactly.
Nope.
And they didn't have Bagman. They didn't have the Sphinx or the acid trip forest shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have just cut
Yeah,
out
or
the
the
Barty
stupid
Crouch
bat shit.
Jr. like
Yeah.
early scenes and put Bagman in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, there's the
was
payoff
also
with the
a fun
Weasleys. The
character.
fun character. There's the whole payoff with the Weasleys and the
Yep,
bet that they
the
do with
bet.
the Irish gold.
Yeah,
That part, that
how
was
the-
so cool.
And that's how Fred and George get the money to
Exactly.
start, is
Harry
gives
giving
his
him the
winning-
money because it's
Yeah.
like they cut all that out. It's like, come on, that's such cool character
Also,
shit.
Where's the this is so
Sorry, now
juvenile.
we're going off on
This
the
is so
goblet now.
juvenile,
No, it's
but,
okay.
Like in the Weighing of the Wands chapter, Ollivander's like examining Cedric's wand, and he's like, "Oh, do you polish it regularly?" And then Cedric goes, "Every night, sir."
Every night, sir.
And then Harry takes his wand, and it's got fingerprints all over it, and then he's just like
rubbing it.
rubbing it until sparks come out.
Thank you for ruining my life now. No, I'm
There's a lot of that in the books.
just- You know, not. I'm glad. Yeah. Oh my god, I never saw that.
I know.
There's so
Rowling
much, like-
has a very dirty mind.
Yeah, apparently.
I was listening to this podcast where they go through the Harry Potter books and they talk about the Patronuses and how when Harry first starts doing it, all he can do is like the vapor.
Oh,
Whatever.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like wisp.
Just like the clear
Wisps.
viscous
Yeah,
wisps
yeah.
and shit.
Yeah. And then he finally does
Oh
it.
god.
They're on the podcast and he's like, "Oh, look at Harry. He's the man. He can produce a full Patronus. None of this wispy vapor premature Patrona
Is it a
ejaculation."
corporeal Patronus?
Yeah,
Right?
and they like,
Isn't that what Madame
well-
Miriam Bones or whatever the fuck it is?
yeah.
Corporeal.
and then
Corporeal.
like when Cedric does it, they say things like, "That's Harry. That's why Cho likes Cedric because he can produce a full."
Yeah. Harry, you're only 14. You're not in the big boy league. Yeah.
Just-
Wait,
You'll
someone said
understand
that
when you're older.
someone said that there should do a live stream party with Fantastic Beasts 2. That would be fun.
We did it with
Number 1.
The first
Yeah,
one.
we have
Hey,
to do
but
it
that's
on
actually a
Discord.
decent movie. Like I can't you
I bitched the entire time.
then you're gonna really bitch. Then you're gonna
The
really
only re-
bitch for the
I feel
second
like
one.
the only reason we haven't done the other ones is because I don't know if I can take.
I want to be there. I want to
Complaining.
be there. Oh my god.
I mean, I'm down to do it. Like I said, maybe next time you come, we can live stream, do a rank of the books, or maybe we could do Fantastic Beasts or something like that.
Oh, I'm down for anything. I mean, anything
can-
like this is fun. You know, fun little
We
exercise.
can do the Fantastic Beasts anytime in the Discord
Oh, definitely,
because
definitely.
we'd have to live stream it there.
I just
I
feel
would-
bad that
I would
it's-
watch it right now.
I'm down. Honestly, I'm down. I am
Just
down.
stay up anyway.
I just feel
I
bad
feel
that
like I'm just too tired to do it.
we are just not gonna get Fantastic Beasts 4 or 5, and it kind of bums me out. It bums me out.
I mean, I'd watch it right now, but I,
haven't
feel like I
watched
need to
them,
be.
so I don't.
I like
I
the
don't know.
third one more than the second. That's for sure. That's for sure. But it seems like Warner Brothers is just like, nope, no more Fantastic Beasts.
No, they're just focusing on the Harry Potter show now.
It's too bad. We're never gonna get the epic duel between Dumbledore and Grindelwald.
Wait, I thought that happened in the last one.
No, because the duel takes place in 1945. That's what
Yeah.
it says on the chocolate frog card in the first one.
Yeah.
The third Fantastic Beasts is like 1933 or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's not actually the final battle yet, but we're never gonna see that duel on screen. It pisses me off.
The first movie seemed like it was about a guy named Newt Scamander, and then it turned into the young Dumbledore show.
I mean, I like Newt Scamander.
I love Newt Scamander. Yeah, he's a great character.
I liked Newt,
yeah,
but what I'm saying is it seems like it's progressed into the Dumbledore series.
it has for the most part.
And Newt was your main character, and then you were
He's
just
taking
like,
a bit of a backseat. I hear you. I hear you.
And not that I've seen the other movies. I'm just like,
No, but you're not wrong.
That's just the way it seems like it's.
But it's inevitable that if you were doing a prequel series, you have to have young Dumbledore, right?
Do you though?
Yeah.
You could just do something else.
No, we need young. What you're saying? No to more Dumbledore stories?
When they're done like that, yes.
Okay, well, like I said, you're gonna hate number 2.
To be fair, I don't know how the actor is, but the actor does look
Melanie,
like.
we need a short film
young
of the
Dumbledore.
duel. I just want the duel. Can we just skip to the? I just want the duel.
Yeah, Chester, I'll hear you out. Rita Skeeter was not utilized to her full potential in the
Agreed.
movies.
Agreed.
Rita
Yeah.
Skeeter's a great character. and she's
Yeah.
just like, push to this. She gets one scene and then that's it.
And we don't even get where Hermione traps her as a
As a
insect
beetle.
or whatever, as a beetle.
We get
Yeah.
that, none of that mystery.
Oh man, that was so.
None of
cool.
those articles.
Yeah.
None of that Hagrid getting shit-faced in his cabin, feeling sorry for himself.
To be fair, that's probably not false.
We're just gonna have her sneak into a closet with Harry, and that's the last you'll see of
And
her.
that's the last we'll see of Rita Skeeter. Oh well.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
I think this was a really fun exercise. I mean, we should do something like this. Doesn't have to be Harry Potter. It could be anything. Ranking things is kind of fun in a very arbitrary, silly way.
It's
Oh,
just fun to
definitely.
talk about.
It's just it's a conversation
like
starter. It's just an
like
icebreaker, you know.
The Song of Ice and Fire ones I watch or listen to.
What is it like ranking your favorite books or
So they did,
seasons
like,
of the show?
They did one where they ranked different theories.
Oh,
They
interesting.
did one where they put the characters on an alignment chart.
Whoa.
Like, where do you think the characters fall on the
What is it like a
on the-
personality test?
like chaotic good? neutral,
Oh,
blah, blah,
oh,
blah,
okay,
all that
sorry.
stuff.
But do they go to the science of it?
No more science talk out of you.
No, I gotta tell you about the pensieve. So, wait, have you read?
They also did
No, wait. I am interested. But no. Go.
food descriptions.
Oh, okay.
They, like,
the
rank
best food descriptions.
Well, and how delicious does the food sound in the description, and that's how they ranked.
Interesting.
Like,
Interesting.
How much do you want to eat this or not eat this thing, based on
Okay.
the description.
Okay.
Renly's peach was way up at the top.
I think it depends on
Oh,
how
they do it in
hungry
Game
I
of Thrones.
am.
I was
but-
gonna say, like, they don't really talk that much about food in Harry Potter.
Yeah, this is all Game of Thrones.
Except for the banquets and stuff.
But even
that's
then, they
kinda
really
bad.
don't talk about
They
the
really
food
don't,
that
though.
much.
Yeah.
It's very much just used as like a comfort description thing.
Mhm.
I think chocolate is used.
Chocolate's a big
Like
recurring theme.
chocolate is used a lot in Azkaban, like Melanie says, as an antidepressant. And alcohol, big time in Half-Blood Prince. There is drinking going on all over that book.
They're just
Everyone
all
is getting
shit-faced the
shit-faced in
whole
that
time?
book. Yeah, everyone's
That's
getting
great.
drunk in that book.
Well, they're in England. I mean,
Later, please post a link to that podcast about the Patronus. Oh, okay, Melanie. I can we can let you know what the podcast is. They go through a read through of the series. You actually would probably like it quite a lot, Melanie. They're pretty insightful. It's the podcast where they say McGonagall is a gambler, and that's why she's constantly putting Harry up on the Quidditch because she's in
He's
debt.
betting on him.
She's
oh,
betting.
I thought you.
McGonagall's
I
a
thought you
gambling
came up
addict.
with that.
No, I didn't
realize
come
it
up with
was a
that.
Podcast. Okay.
No, I didn't come up with that.
That makes so much sense, though. That's why she's like keeps this like stern image because she's secretly.
can't have her star boy off the team. She's got big bets on
You
him.
know that. You know that. And when Hagrid wins
She owes
the
the
Norbert
goblins.
from the gambling,
Yeah.
I bet McGonagall was at that table.
She could've
Definitely.
been. She could have been.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Maybe that's why. Harry got punished so bad because they sent the dragon away.
Exactly. Yeah.
She was
I could've
there,
made
she
so
caught
much
him.
money. Yeah. Sorry. No. Yeah.
See, it all connects. But like some of the Game of Thrones theories are crazy. Like Tyrion is a time traveling fetus.
What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. Bolton is
All right, I need to look that one up.
Yeah, what the
we'll break
heck?
down the time travel science on that one. See if that's possible.
the bolt on theory.
What's that?
Roose Bolton is a vampire,
Okay.
and he's been like drinking the blood of people for hundreds of years to stay alive.
Okay. All right.
And then maybe he's part White Walker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
So
Bran is actually Bran the Builder.
So back on Harry Potter.
Okay. Oh,
yeah,
Bran! Oh, you poor soul.
Have you?
He just said hi. What did I miss?
Oh, not much. Nah, you're good.
Someone said, who would win a kickboxing match between Hagrid and Greyback? Hagrid. Hagrid would kick the shit out of Greyback.
Yeah, Hagrid.
He's part giant.
Here's the question: is Greyback in human or wolf form? Is it
I'm
the full
pretty
moon or
sure
not?
I don't care.
That in the first book, Hagrid's feet are described as the size of baby dolphins.
They are. They are. They are. I mean, it could honestly, maybe it could be a close match, but I still think Hagrid would win.
I still think
Hagrid
so.
could take him.
Yeah.
I think Hagrid.
Give Hagrid an hour, and
Particularly kickboxing.
Greyback will be rolling over and sitting for him.
Well, plus, yeah, he's a magical creature's like
dude.
He's like a dude who does that shit.
Yeah,
so he would be having him, like you said, he'd be having him playing dead. Who's a good boy, Fenrir?
He's a good boy.
He's
He's
a
a
good
little
boy.
bit nippy.
He's
but
just
he's
a bit
good boy.
misunderstood. They're very misunderstood werewolves, misunderstood creatures. Yeah.
Ren, we just went through and ranked all of the Harry Potter films from worst to best in our opinions. Yeah.
That was great. What a great idea. Good job, team.
Okay, the pensieve.
Here we go.
Watch the video. You filmed it. All right, go ahead.
Give me like your theory in 3 sentences.
Do that.
4.
All right, so have you read Slaughterhouse 5? Because this will speed things along.
Oh, a while ago. Yeah.
Do you remember the time travel theory?
I do remember the time travel
You can
aspect.
travel anywhere in your timeline. Like you're given this timeline, you can jump back and forth.
Yeah, your past, future. Yep.
Okay, so my theory is they pull out the memory as like this string.
Yeah.
So that string is not a memory; it's actually a piece of that person's timeline.
You mean the person that memory is from?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I'm with you.
Instead of the memory, you're pulling out the timeline. So
you
that
jump
time-
into that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
That time in that person's life.
Gotcha. Okay, with you.
And since space and time are connected, the more you move through space, time is different.
Sure, dilated or whatever.
Yeah, which is why you can't move too far away from that person, because you reach a point where time has changed too much that it's no longer within that
stretch of
timeline.
string, right? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I'm with you. This is
So-
actually really cool.
So you're not actually in the memory, you're going back to that person's space and time. And that's why you can see everything else going around them and not just what they remember.
Because you're not actually in a memory, you're actually in that person's lived time.
Exactly. And the
Gotcha.
pensieve is like this.
So the pensieve is like a time machine.
Kind
Not a
of.
time machine.
It
Sorry, not a
doesn't-
time machine.
It doesn't actually take you back, but it's like
like a time replicator.
Fourth-dimensional
Okay.
object.
That
So
can
it-
replicate strings of time.
Yeah.
Yes?
Think of it as like
Is this like string theory? No, that's something else.
it's kind of like a magnifying glass for the timeline.
Dude, that's
so you
sick.
put it in and it opens up this space and time. You can't actually do anything because you're not actually there, but it's a way to look into that time.
You had me at magnifying glass through time. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Melanie Biggs, not a bad theory about the pensieve.
No, that's good, man. Honestly, that's really cool. I wish I knew more about like fourth dimensions.
Go ahead and check it out.
Well, the fourth dimension is technically time.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Like duration,
Yeah.
right? Duration. Okay. Okay.
So we have like the X, Y, and Z axes in space that we can move around,
Uh-huh.
and then there's also
Time is the fourth dimension. Interesting.
So a fourth dimensional like being would be able to move through time like we would space.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I want to do that. Can I get like some
think we
drug
all
that
would.
lets me access the fourth dimension? Oh, sorry, it's called LSD. But anyway, have you seen Tenet?
No.
You got to see Tenet if you are interested in time travel. That's a really interesting movie. So cool. But no, I love your pensive theory, dude. That's actually really cool.
Right?
Strains of-
I picked on him, but it's actually
No, it's
pretty
a
solid.
really
Yeah,
cool
it's a good
theory.
one.
Yeah. I love stuff like this anyway. so-
Science and magic can work together here.
Okay, I
So-
will. You know what? I think we can come to a harmonious place here. I agree. Science and magic are bedfellows.
He's the non-believer, though.
I
is
know.
what
We
it
see. We
is.
believe in like mystical stuff.
We're Luna talking
Yeah,
to Hermione.
exactly.
Like all the
We
time.
yeah. But no, I think there is a place of harmony that we can reach here.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I love your theory. I do actually. I am interested.
So much like James.
Sorry. I feel like answering this question about whether Harry was a girl or a boy and Snape and all that is a whole can of worms. I just think is for another time.
I agree.
If Harry was, well, it depends. If Harry was a
Let's
girl,
talk about it anyway.
if Harry,
That was, yeah.
'Cause he was
we're
gonna tr-
we're
no.
done ranking the books.
No,
Like
'cause
you
he's
said, you
gonna
don't
try
have
to get
go
me
right
going.
bed.
Sorry, I love Prisoner. No, just kidding.
He's gonna get me going. He's gonna say something and it's gonna
Alright.
trigger me, and then I'm gonna go on a Snape
Look,
rant
I'm-
for another
I was
10
just saying,
minutes. It's gonna happen.
If Harry was a girl
Here we go.
and he looked like, and he looked
And
like,
he looked like James,
and-
or if he looked like Lily.
and he looked like James,
Okay.
I think we would pretty much have the same story. He'd still treat her badly.
Okay, but if you look like
But if he
Lily,
looked like Lily,
Mhm.
I think we would have Lolita.
I think we're entering like Freudian weird territory.
Freudian weird dear. How dare you say we'd have Lolita? Ew.
That's right.
We would not.
Yeah, we would.
Why would
You
you?
haven't even read that book.
No, and I
so-
never will.
Don't know why. It's good.
No, you told me what it was about, and I'm not interested.
It's a good
But
book.
Nakaboff's a great author.
His-
Hail fire, dude. That
his-
shit's fire.
Look,
Hail fire.
look, I'm not here
The-
to debate whether or
the-
not he's a great writer or not. It's the premise of the book I'm not interested in. It's no,
Good.
no.
Give it a chance.
Give it a chance.
I'm good.
The first paragraph alone is some of like the most poetic shit I've ever read in my life.
I feel like the only reason anyone would read Lolita, or should even bother to read Lolita, is if you're trying to become a writer or something in the English profession.
That's a very valid reason to read it.
Yeah, and that's fine, but I'm not interested in that. I'm not a writer. I don't plan on being one.
It's like the ultimate
We should all
unreliable
co-write
narrator.
something.
It's
we
the
should all come
ultimate
up with a story
unreliable
together.
narrator
That'd be fun.
story. Do you know that Preston Jacobs is a Song of Ice and Fire YouTuber? He got a bunch of people together and they are writing The Winds of Winter.
That's sick.
Like they're writing their
Good for
version
them.
of it.
Someone's got to do
So
it.
you're like, yeah, we're done waiting.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, it's actually decent. Like, it's not
Look,
bad.
I have come up with the theory.
Sides to what best friends can become. No. Harry and Hermione were never Snape and Lily.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not
That's
even.
what I was saying before. The Harry Hermione friendship is to me so important because it's like
It's just a friendship.
it's just a
They're like
friendship,
brother and
but that's
sister.
so that's such a to me that's like a positive message. It's
It
like
is, yeah.
yeah, it's
it
like
is.
we don't have to be like
There doesn't have to be any underlying.
Eros
any-
doesn't have to command all aspects of behavior. Like
Yep.
yeah, you know.
Snape and Lily were different.
Yeah. No, that was a weird like
And
Snape
Rowling-
was almost like
Well,
I know
Rowling,
you're a huge
um,
Snape fan, but he was a creep. He was definitely
Rowling also admitted that if Snape had made better choices,
Mhm.
they could have potentially ended up together.
You never know.
The
You
nature
never
of
know.
their friendship was much different than the nature of Harry's
I
relationship.
mean, I feel bad for
friendship
Snape.
with-
Snape came
with
from a
Hermione.
bad background. Like,
Oh,
Snape
yeah.
had obviously a horrible upbringing and stuff. But
we all have choices to make.
that's a classic, one of the classic Harry Potter fanfics. The methods of rationality.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, that was one of the early ones, but it's.
As far as like A Song of Ice and Fire, since we're on that, I'm no longer really that excited for Winds of Winter. I mean, I'm gonna read it day one. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, gotta.
I'm calling.
But you're no
I'm
longer
calling
excited.
out of work. Yeah, I'm not like. I'm not in.
Calling out of
I'm
work. Well, hey, that's fine. You can call out of work, dude. I'll call out of work,
right?
I'm
Yeah,
not
me too, like-
anticipating it anymore.
I'm
just
sick.
because. No, it's been so long.
I'm just joking.
Like Martin obviously just doesn't care about the story anymore.
He's too busy watching NFL.
I still think he cares about the world.
Yeah, he's big like better and stuff, isn't he?
Well, he's obsessed with the
Giants.
football.
The
Stupid.
Giants.
He's
Yeah.
a Giants fan.
Yeah.
He also bought a train.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
What a great non sequitur.
Investments. They bought a trade, like a real one.
Martin
That's
obviously doesn't
cool.
care. And it's been over a decade since the last book was released.
Dance of Dragons.
And you have millions of people just coming up with theories and trying to write it. I guarantee you, it doesn't matter what Martin writes, could be the most perfect book ever. There has already been someone who came up with a theory that is better.
Probably.
There's an ending that is better.
It's kind of like what you were saying, the multiverse theory of like any possible choice splinters off into a new timeline.
Exactly.
Someone is going to find the right choice.
Exactly.
Yes, totally.
Someone has
Totally.
already written the exact ending that's going to happen, and
Yes.
someone has already written a better one.
So true. So true.
When you
The
give
Martin
people
should just
this
give up.
long, I'm not saying that. I'm just
I am.
saying like for
It's like,
the people who are like,
Yeah.
I just can't wait. I just can't wait. Like,
Yeah.
just
Who
temper
is
your expectations.
Yes.
There's
definitely.
another
Oh
author,
yes. People are going to be very disappointed when the real Winds of Winter comes out. But anyway, you go on.
There's another author that's his name's Patrick Rothfuss.
Oh yeah, I've read both of his, The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear. Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent books. If you want to borrow them, they're great. You
Um,
would love them.
Well, here's the problem.
Oh.
It's been like fucking 10 years.
Well,
since-
yeah, we're never gonna see The Doors of Stone.
Yeah,
No, we're
third
never
book-
gonna see it.
Yeah, it's the same.
I've already
thing.
come to terms with this, and I love those books. Those first two were amazing.
I kind of like read the synopsis about them. I was like,
Okay.
I guess these could be good.
I mean,
But
it's
then I
kind
saw
of
it was like the
familiar
s-
territory. It's like a
well,
magic
it's
school
fantasy.
and stuff. Yeah.
And then I read it was like the George R. R. Martin thing, all over again, and I'm like, I don't want to read another series.
Well, the
where
word
book
is
coming
the
out.
word is that Rothfuss has not even. I'm sure Martin has been trying. The word is that Rothfuss hasn't even tried to write Doors of Stone, which I'm sure is speculous, but we haven't seen
at
it. We
least-
got nothing. We don't have it,
Martin has been writing Winds,
and we
that-
don't have
that
Doors
is-
of Stone.
like a
Yeah,
thing.
okay.
He has been writing.
And
I mean,
Gabe
look-
Newell has been working on Half-Life 3. Look, we'll
I'm
get Winds
not-
of Winter
By
when
the way,
Half-Life 3
I love
comes
those
out.
Rothfuss books. I hope he writes Doors of Stone, but we don't have it, and I need it.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, but if you want to borrow those, they're great.
If I'm ready.
Okay,
to
they're long.
Read another.
Wise Man's
unfinished
Fear
series.
is over 1,000 pages long, so that's an endeavor.
I mean, so is Dance with Dragons.
No, there you
that,
go.
that book is like almost 1,200 pages or something like that. That book's huge.
What's funny is Feast for Crows and Dance with Dragons was supposed to be one book.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's
this
why
is
they split it up.
Feast and Dance.
So did he
for-
write them to like in one sitting? Is that like
Feast
one
for-
manuscript split into 2 books?
Feast for Crows and like 2/3 to 3/4 of
Wow, I didn't
Dance
know
with
this.
Dragons actually overlap in timeline.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Feast for
I didn't know
Crows is
this.
just the story of half the characters. and
Okay.
then Dance with Dragons is the other half.
Oh man.
All
So it's-
happening
it's
at the same time.
See, I'm a little because I only read, to be quite honest, I only read the first Game of Thrones. I got halfway through A Clash of Kings, so I am not. Yeah, see, I'm
Here's the
bad.
thing.
I'm bad.
Storm of Swords slaps so hard.
I missed out on the best one then. Fuck.
That one is just the. Like
I mean,
that-
I loved it. I
It's
don't know
always
why
the
I gave
third
up.
book. This is why trilogies are magic.
But why did I give up? Probably because the show was so popular, and I was just like, I need to be with the cool
if
people.
you're like halfway through Clash of Kings, I can see where you're at, kind of.
But it's not that I didn't like it. It's
Oh.
just I just lost track of it, and I
too
sure
bad.
was. I know, I'm missing out.
Swords kicks ass.
I want to get there. Oh my god, I want to get there.
Now I'm gonna see if they
recent third book of the Chocolate War.
should have been a trilogy. Ah. Now Melanie's like, what other things are out there?
There probably
that were never
is.
finished.
What was
And
the
if
Charles
not,
Dickens book
be
that
the one
was
to
never
write it
finished?
for
The
everyone
Mystery of
else.
Edwin Droog. I think that was the final one that Dickens was working on before he died. It never got finished.
You're probably
Something
right.
like the Mystery of Edwin Droog. I always liked the name.
Why did Barty Crouch Jr. quit drinking? Because drinking made him all moody and junk.
No, but they should have had Bagman in Goblet of Fire. He would have been funny.
He would have been great.
Yeah.
Who would you have cast as Bagman?
Great question. Well, it's got to be a British actor, right? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like the show.
Circa
we know.
2006. What? Okay.
Yeah. Even if you think there's like an actor now that would be great, you can do that too. 'Cause
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not going to be able to think of an actor back then.
The Mystery of Edwin Drood.
Drood. Okay. I feel like I was close. What did I say? Droog?
Drood.
Okay.
You were close. Droog is friend in Russian.
Friend?
Mm-hmm. That's what it means in Russian.
All the young Droods.
Well, that's that they use Russian words a lot in Clockwork Orange. Me and my Droogs went out for a cup of Moloko.
All right, I'm going to throw a really out there one for Bagman.
Okay.
Jason Statham.
Oh my god, give him a little beer belly and he'd be great.
That'd be funny. He could play
He'd
against
be
type.
so funny.
Play
Yeah,
against, totally play against type.
Yeah, Bagman
be like
is a
a-
retired
And be like a
athlete.
fast talking, like gambler guy.
Yeah.
Like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels type of shit. But
That'd
instead
be
of like
hilarious.
action, it's like I'm like a washed up gambler
Athlete.
addict. Yeah, athlete. Yeah, right.
yeah.
That'd be funny.
All right.
That's
I
my
can
pick.
See that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I like it. Speaking of, do you know they're making the Meg 2?
I did
Yeah.
realize this.
I
The
very-
first one was fun.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that was
Did
great.
you
Yeah.
see the trailer for it?
I haven't.
no.
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh my god, we gotta watch it.
Does it look good?
Yeah,
Cool.
they're just embracing the
They're just-
craziness.
Yes,
That's what more.
that's what I want.
That's what I want too. That's all I ever wanted was crazy shark
They're
shit.
not trying to take it serious. They're just like,
Thank
we're
you.
gonna
I
make
just want a good
crazy-
Shark B movie.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Me too. Yes. Stop trying to win Oscars, okay? No one likes that.
Speaking
Yeah.
of, I just watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
How was it? I haven't seen it.
Fucking phenomenal.
I heard raves about that.
Oh my
Really
god.
good?
So good.
Oh man, wow, that's cool. That's cool.
That's
So, like,
DreamWorks
awesome,
is
though.
Back.
Death is
Damn.
personified and is after him.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So it's like cool. That's awesome.
And
Is it like Final Destination?
so like Puss is on his last of his 9 lives, so
Oh,
he
gotcha.
goes to find the last wish to get his 9 lives back.
Uh-huh.
And like he fights death and death almost kills him.
Cool.
So he like is running away from death.
Cool. Wait, this sounds awesome though.
And like Kitty Softpaws comes back.
Wow.
Love Kitty Softpaws. And
That's
Lil,
wild.
Lil Jack Horner is now Big Jack Horner, and he's a fucking psychopath.
Oh my god.
And he's got this room of like magical objects that he's collected, and he's
That's
got like
cool.
a wall of like just unicorn horns mounted. He's got like
What?
all this shit. He's got a phoenix in a cage. He's got,
What?
and then he puts it all
Poor
in a
fox.
giant, huh?
Poor fox.
He's got it all in a. He throws all of it in like this big giant bag that's got like Hermione's charm on it.
Yeah,
It's like
right.
an
And
endless
enlarging,
bag.
whatever,
It's a
yeah.
Mary Poppins.
It's a
bag.
Mary Poppins bag,
Hell
and he like
yes.
goes after the last wish too, and like
What's the last what's the last
So,
wish? Sorry, he ran out of all of his lives. I forgot that.
there's
Yeah.
a star that fell to the earth, and it's magic, and if you
Cool.
find it,
Get a wish.
you get to make a wish.
Cool.
And then the other group racing towards the wish is Goldilocks and the Three Bears,
What?
and they're a crime family.
That's awesome.
And she wants to make the last. She wants the last wish.
Uh-huh.
And should I spoil?
Yeah,
the end?
go for it. I don't
Okay.
care.
So they all get to the end, and you find out that
Spoiler alert
Puss-
for Puss in Boots. Switch.
So
All right,
Puss
we've
in
gone way off. Maybe we should just like end the stream here if this is where we're going.
I don't know. Maybe they want to hear about Puss in Boots.
I mean,
we
who
should
wouldn't
ask
want to
them
know?
What they want to know about Puss in Boots. Anyway, you find out that Puss and Kitty Softpaws were gonna get married, but then they both ran away from the altar because they were scared.
Oh shit! They were scared of cats.
Yes.
Yes.
And meanwhile, there's this like little dog that is like following them around the whole time, and like they make friends with him kind of begrudgingly. But
This
anyway,
out of context is just the best thing ever.
So the movie ends where they're all like fighting each other for the wish. And Goldilocks was gonna wish for she was gonna wish for like a real human family.
Oh, okay.
But on the journey,
Fuck those bears.
she has to like save the bears, and she realizes
Oh,
like,
I really love the bears.
the bears
They're my
are
family.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Bears.
The bears.
And then they defeat little big Jack Horner and whatever, and then Death shows up.
This sounds insane.
And Death is like this big bad like wolf with these dual scythes and
That's sick.
and he like whistles and like
He whistles.
walks. It's creepy and it's cool. And like he tells like when he sees Puss, he like tells him things like, "You remember, Puss, I always win in the end."
Oh,
like,
damn. The inevitability of
yeah, it's like in this movie. And then they fight.
He really
And then
creeped out Mona.
Oh
he
man.
scared the shit out of Mona.
Oh shit.
And at the end, like Puss is losing the fight, and then he's finally like, "I give up. You win.
Take my life.
Take my life.
Last
It's
life.
fine."
Yeah.
And then Death is finally like, he gets real pissed off, and he's like, "All right, we're officially equals, Puss in Boots." And he goes, "Go, live your life. We'll meet again someday."
Okay.
Yeah, he like conquers death.
He
in
conquers
that way.
death.
By
Wow.
overcoming his fear of death.
He became the master of death.
Yeah. See, a full circle.
He acquired all the Horcruxes.
Hallows.
Or Hallows, yeah.
Hallows, not Horcruxes. Horcruxes, not
no.
Hallows.
Either way.
Choice
Good choice.
between what is right and what is easy. I'll have a drink, thank you very much.
On that note,
right.
I think it's time to end it.
Yeah, before
You
we
guys
talk
are
more about
getting
Puss in
way,
Boots.
way off topic. Not even talking about literature anymore. We're just,
Yeah, I don't
Puss
know
in
what
Boots
we're
is
talking about.
literature.
No, it's an animated kids movie.
It's based on a fairy tale.
It's an animated children's movie. A good one, I will admit. Like it was good, but
Also the animation style. Chef's kiss.
all right. Either way, that's our rankings.
All right, yeah. That's
Harry
our
Potter
ranking.
film rankings. That was fun, guys.
Hope you all enjoyed. We
Yeah,
will
that
see you
was
again
fun.
soon.
Thank you for joining us, and have a good night.
Adieu.